crime trails, we follow the signs. ChatRats rolling always on time. We dive in deep into every case, from alibis to that suspect's face. Gobble drops and the stakes get high. We light it up, truth never dies. Global crew, all eyes on the stream. Investigations run like a dream. Popping facts with that midnight spark. Solving crimes even in the dark. We got theories and we got files. We got timelines stretching miles. Clicking links, checking the stats. Say it loud, we the ChatRats. Let the story unfold from the first 911 to the courtroom code. Running down leads, we don't relax. Light it up, we got the facts. Puff pass, bring the justice through. From the crime scene sketch to the interview. Together we vibe in every chat. Watch us work, we the ChatRats. Murder boards and old police logs. Late night lives and digital fog. We question the lies, breaking it down. Flashlight minds in a sleepy town. Whispers turn to witness names. Motive, weapon, unravel the games. With every puff, a clue gets clear. Truth hits harder than smoke in the air. Follow the thread, where it led. One more clue, what they said. Puff, puff, pass, let the story unfold. From the first 911 to the courtroom code. Running down leads, we don't relax. Light it up, we got the facts. Puff pass, bring the justice through. From the crime scene sketch to the interview. Together we vibe in every chat. Watch us work, we the ChatRats. Light it, pass it, the journey goes on. From the crime to the court, dusk till dawn. Truth seekers under digital hats. Solving mysteries, we the ChatRats. Puff pass.
What's up, fuckaroos?
Yo!
What's going on? What's up?
What's going on, player?
What up?
What up, pimp?
What's
Yeah.
up, guys? Oh, sorry.
Mary B.
That's me on the spot.
Mary B.
What up, lady pimp?
What's happening, guys?
Not shit.
I was just gonna do a little late nighter, which
Let's do
feels
it.
better than trying to rush it all up in the afternoon, you know?
I'm gonna do an all-nighter. I gotta be
You
at the
are,
airport
man.
at fucking
What?
3 a.m. What?
Yeah, it's easier to just not go to sleep.
Yeah, I'll just sleep on the plane. It's like a 3-hour flight,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I always say that.
Oh, no, I fall asleep. I can fall asleep like sitting. I can fall asleep anywhere.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I chose an aisle seat, so I should be fine.
He's got narcolepsy. He can sleep anywhere.
Well, like I was explaining, like I always try to get an aisle or a window seat, not for like my comfort, but for everybody else's comfort, because if I sleep in the middle, and I will fall asleep, I might end up with my head on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
always weird.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
so if I'm at like the window or aisle seat, I can make sure that my head is tilted whichever way. But
Yeah,
in the middle,
So window would be preferred because then you don't get hit by the drink cart.
oh no, I prefer but that's what I like. I like the aisle seat because the drink cart people will wake you up if you're like right there.
Yeah,
Whereas like if you're at the window, they'll just let you sleep. But I do want to drink regardless of the fact that I'm tired.
yeah, you want your free drink and
Fuck
whatever
yeah.
the snack is.
Oh yeah, it's usually like some shitty cookies.
I know, but you still gotta eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still good though.
Yep, that's the principle of the thing.
Fuck yeah. So yeah, Danny, I was really looking forward to watching more of this case. The second case, the first one, I forget his name. That one's just like, this dude seems like a giant piece of shit. The second one,
Kohberger or the Preppy murder trial.
Yeah, I think
We just made it
Kohberger.
to the teenagers on
Kohberger,
the
yeah,
Preppy
the Idaho one.
murder. Mhm.
Oh
That's
no, the
Kohberger.
dude with like his wife was missing, and then they found the body.
Morphew.
Morphew.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one. I'm like, dude, that guy. This seems fucked.
Yeah, he clearly sucks.
Yeah.
So the first video we're gonna watch today is Suzanne Morphew. This video's got like 1.5 million views on it.
Whoa.
It's 4 years old. So
All right.
but it is 4 years old, so it's not updated with the new indictments and all that. But I figured we'd watch it just to
Yeah,
see
let's see what they used
what's
to
in
say.
it. What's up, Gingy?
Yeah.
Hey, Gingy. Puff, puff, pass.
Yeah,
Do-
yeah, or not, or no, yeah, or no, either one could be.
Yeah, yeah.
Nay.
Yeah.
Prefer nay.
Let's get the show on the road.
Like a
Yeah, this
horse.
guy looks like he has something to say.
This guy looks like a younger, more like face proportioned right Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes, agreed.
And Danny's on mute, and we're not watching shit.
Yeah, I'm not watching anything. Somebody's coming inside, so I was just letting them inside.
Oh.
MJ,
What's up, MJ?
What up?
How you doing?
Fabulous.
What's going on, pimp?
MJ, how's your kid doing?
She's alive, so that's always
Oh,
nice.
well,
Just getting rid of some
good prognosis, I
organs
guess.
that you don't need.
Yeah, they Venmoed, they vetoed out her appendicitis.
I wish they Venmoed.
They said her appendix was fine and just pretty much sent us home and were like, good luck.
Kidney stone, maybe?
I'm wondering, she had like a high bilirubin, which per my research has to do with your gallbladder.
Yes.
And
So
with
there's
her,
gallstones or, the gallbladder. The same thing can happen like with the appendix.
yeah, so I'm wondering, because she's had stomach issues for years. So I'm wondering if something is up with her gallbladder and like if it has been for a long time.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yep. Because I dated a guy and he had stomach issues too, but he got kidney stones all the time. And
What's up,
those things hurt.
Gingy, Claire, sweet woman? How are y'all doing today?
But I hope they figure it out because that sucks not knowing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thanks. Me too.
Yeah, for real.
Plus, it sucks being in pain like that.
Exactly.
Right. And like she has like a severe phobia of needles. Like I'm scared of needles, but not nearly as bad as she does. So she hasn't had blood work done since she was like 4. And when she told me like how bad she was like throwing up and how much pain she was in, I was like, what do you want to do? And she was like, I want to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay,
There's
I'll bring
needles
you.
there.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna have to do blood work. I was like, I want to bring you to the hospital because I want them to figure out what's going on and you need blood work done. We need to figure this out. And she was like, I don't even care at this point. Please just bring me. So I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she gets better.
Yeah, she's feeling better today. She's been able to eat and drink today. So,
Good.
yeah.
Sweet woman said, did they do any kind of ultrasound?
Yes, they did do an ultrasound, but all they really looked for was her appendix. And I was really pissed off because the original doctor we had said if they couldn't see the appendix on the ultrasound, that it was a good sign because that means like it's not inflamed so bad where they could see it, right? But he wanted a CAT scan to rule out other things. And then the new doctor that came in was like, "Well, I don't really think the CAT scan is worth it, blah blah blah. And we
Just do
won't
the
be able
CAT
to do."
scan.
Right. And he's like, "We won't be able to do it until tomorrow." And at that point, Scarlett was like, "I just want to fucking go home." So I was like,
Hmm.
"All right,
Find out when that other doctor's working.
for real."
What's she doing right now? Sleeping?
No, I hear her yelling, so I'm guessing she's playing video games.
Yeah, playing games for sure. Well, let's see what this video's got for us.
Question mark. Just on the end of that one. It's Colorado, so look forward to that. To the city of Salida we go. Located right smack dab in the middle of Colorado and the middle of the Rockies. You know what else is rocky? This case. I mean, here.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. I think Danny's frozen too.
Yeah.
What it is. Hold on a second.
Janine's here.
Janine.
What's up, girl?
Babes. What's going on?
No, just watching videos and stuff.
Mary B, I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I was
okay.
like passing out. I was like, I really want to go live, but I look tired.
No, I was so happy. I'm like the sleep Nazi. I'm like, no matter what is going on in life, sleep instead.
Same.
It's so important.
Sometimes it's needed.
It is definitely. Well, I'm happy that you're here. Hey Dean, hey brother.
Yo,
Hey
what's going on, babe?
MJ.
Hey, I was just talking about you.
Oh, yay. What's going on? How's everything? Good?
Fabulous. Couldn't be
Ex-
Better.
Excellent. Oh, so happy. You're on Morphew. Did you hear about what just happened with Kohberger?
No, I just saw a video pop up on my YouTube from today, but I didn't get to watch it yet.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about it, or are we doing this? I don't want to disrupt your flow, brother.
No, you can talk about it. I gotta find this damn VPN. It won't pull up.
Okay.
It's lagging us out.
So I was just watching Gray Hughes. I was surprised that nobody else was talking about it. They denied his third party culprit defense, which I was surprised by. And but so there were 4 potential others. So what I mean, Gray Hughes is, just definitely he's Kohberger is guilty, and he was the same with Richard Allen. I don't even know if he covered Karen's trial, but yeah, so he is like BK is definitely did it. But I am so curious as to what the hell his defense is going to be, because there's so much evidence against him between the phone dings and the DNA. And honestly, I mean, the DNA is a little sus to me. I think I was talking to Lawleen the other night about it, and she was like, well, or was it, I don't remember. I think it was Lawleen, but like flipping the knife in anticipation of what, without the gloves on. It's just weird that there's not a trace of his DNA anywhere. No sweat, no anything. I think we were talking about this on my birthday stream. And so that was one thing, and they will not continue it. So that was kind of iffy, but I'm surprised about the third party culprit.
Yeah, he's gonna need the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. Deny.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. And then I know it's not really evidence, but has anybody seen the selfie that he took the day of the murders?
Yes.
Well, I guess, yeah, technically the day of. You've seen that, MJ?
Yeah.
It's totally, I mean, there's just something about it that just like, it sent a shockwave through me. When I saw that, I was just like, it's in the bathroom. And it's almost like, I mean, what is your assessment of it? It's weird. It's like almost like, yay, we did it type of thing.
Yeah, it's like he wanted to like memorialize it almost.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
this was the time I did that, like,
Yeah. We did it.
weirdo.
Yeah, monster. Oh my fucking God. And then another thing about the the roommates, right? Which that is so, we were talking about that a little bit, so sus to me. Like, how do you, people say that they were kind of congregating in the backyard, smoking cigarettes. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of nervous energy, but it was, there has been chatter about, and it's totally hearsay and it's speculative, but that this was all over social media, like 8 a.m. first thing in the morning. Oh, we lost our brother. Damn. All right, Dean, you're it.
You're in charge now.
You're in charge.
I don't think he's even here.
Oh my God. All right.
Now who's in charge? Oh,
All
he's back. All right, good.
Sorry,
But-
this damn VPN will not pull up, and it's like shutting the fucking computer down.
Oh
'Cause it's
no.
lagging.
That sucks.
So-
Yeah, so that
sad.
that was basically, those were my my feelings about the one
my
thing
God.
I think I was talking to Lorleen about also is, I think it's Lorleen. I'm sorry if it's not, that I'm using your name incorrectly, but I think we were talking about, like, why won't the housemates' testimony be televised? They're not minors, and they weren't when the murders occurred. And to me, it's totally sus that they waited until 12 p.m. the next, 12 p.m. that day. But when she saw whomever at 4:20, I think 4:20.
Nice.
All right, I think I got it fixed.
Well, you
Maybe.
guys have influenced me so heavily.
You're welcome.
We family, right? So what do you think?
Right.
What are your thoughts on all that? It's a wild case.
Yeah, it's crazy. He seems like a douchebag. And yeah, it's sus, the roommates. But the only thing I can think of is that it happened in the middle of the night and you're like all weird, your head's all weird. And you wake up in the morning and it's like you know that it really happened, but like you don't want to like have to deal with that yet.
Right.
So you just pretend that it didn't happen.
Right.
That's what I could see happening.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
murders, though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's a stressful thing to have to deal with and be like, all right, if I don't see it, then it didn't happen.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
but then they were that's my, I am looking forward to, that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, the trial, just like the Fairfield trial, that's not the Fairfield, but it's like the Connecticut trial. It's horrific, and it's like, it's the last fucking thing you want to deal with, kids that are killed. There's nothing worse than that, nothing. But I want to know, like, what do these kids have to say? Like, Ann Taylor is going to go after them if any of that is true. Like, why were you on social media? They're going to know if the kids were all talking about it. I don't know about Snapchat, but they have to know. They knew that Xana was on TikTok at like 4:15, 4:18, like, like right there, she was on TikTok.
All right, I think I got it fixed now.
Yay.
See if we can get through this. We
Yay.
got some Kohberger videos too, but let's see if I can. That VPN, if you don't pay for it, once it hooks in your internet, it slows you way down.
Mm.
But let's see if this works.
This story began on the 10th of May, 2020. That day, a Sunday, nice and warm, getting up to about 24 degrees Celsius. That day was, what we can imagine Suzanne Morphew thought, to be a, perfect day to go for a bike ride. Wink. That'll come up later, but yeah. Bike ride. Salida has some beautiful bike trails. So why not go to Salida, which means exit in Spanish, which is kind of fitting, and enjoy the beautiful bike trails. What a pleasant way to start your day. Suzanne Morphew was married to Barry Morphew. They had been married for a whopping 25 years.
Nothing happened to the trial. We'll just watch this one video on Morphew, and then we're going to watch the trial. It's queued up.
My. Suzanne, 49 years young, Barry, 52. Together, the Morphews had 2 daughters, Macy and Mallory, who were both grown up by 2020, and they were, a close, tight-knit, very good-looking family. They had formerly lived in Arcadia, Indiana, before relocating to beautiful Colorado and the even more beautiful house at Puma Path in the town of Maysville, a few minutes from Salida. That house will sell for, in March 2021, $1.6 million of your American dollar dues, not 2, perhaps even 3 bad. Suzanne had formerly been a teacher in a previous life, you might say, because she'd actually only been a school teacher for 4 years, 1995 to 1999, over 20 years before our story begins. Suzanne was also a 2-time cancer survivor, Hodgkin's lymphoma, a person others only had good things to say about. Barry worked in landscaping and construction and was also a volunteer firefighter. Not doing too bad if they could afford a house like this, am I right? It also appears Suzanne ran a non-profit out of her home, the Suzanne or Morphew Hope Foundation. Her and Barry were listed as directors, and its purpose, its mission statement, was to, and I quote, address needs of children in various global locations by showing the love of Jesus Christ in tangible ways to address recognized needs. While that's worded very awkwardly, they're a charity. What they actually did day to day. So that day, May the 10th, Suzanne, she was heading out on her little bike, and then later on she was due to meet her daughters for, well, it was Mother's Day. Barry was actually out of town that weekend at a landscaping job 150 miles away in Denver, the daughters coming home from a camping trip. So that morning, Suzanne was home alone and then went out for a bike ride. Wait a minute, how would anybody know she was going for a bike ride if she was home alone? Good question. So Suzanne went out for this bike ride, apparently, and she never returned. She never returned. Returned from where? Yeah. Later that day, when Suzanne's 2 daughters tried to contact her and they couldn't get through to her at all, they contacted a neighbor to see if there was any sign of her at home. He popped the head in, had a go around, kicked the tires, and saw jack shit. With nada to go on or off of, at 5:45 p.m. on May the 10th, Mother's Day, they called the Sheriff's Department and reported Suzanne missing. The last post Suzanne made on her Facebook account was a picture of her and her 2 daughters. The investigation, well, I mean, at this age, search, began that very day. The dogs are out in the woods, drones, search and rescue were out in earnest, searching the area she had reportedly gone biking on a bike. It lasted into the final hours of May the 10th and the early hours of the 11th, and then resumed as they had nothing, no sign or clues at this time. Barry raced the 150 miles home from Denver, cutting his trip short.
49-year-old Suzanne Morphew never returned from a bike ride she took on Sunday in the Maysville area. Today, the sheriff's office only used dogs for their search. Now, Sheriff John Spez is saying that there is no need for volunteers and did not comment on whether or not Morphew's bike was recovered by late afternoon today. Now, Morphew had not been found.
This is an ongoing investigation, so if you have any information about Morphew's whereabouts, please contact the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office.
Within 2 days of her flat-out vanishing, $100,000 would be offered, for information leading to Suzanne's safe return, which is strange, right? It was as if, like from Jump Street, from the very get-go, the investigators suspected foul play, from what began as just person gone into the woods, never came back out. Probably fucking tripped on a rock. Cougars got her, I don't know. The bike ride would even come under doubt. And even the police would later say they think she went missing on the 10th of May. Did she go missing before May the 10th? Was there even a bike ride, or was this something somebody told someone? This will come up a few times in this story, but the police have always been very tight-lipped on what they think is happening, information.
As you know, Suzanne Morphew became a missing person on Sunday, the 10th. Her investigation still remains the top priority of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, and it is a missing persons investigation. The question is do we believe she's still alive? We're certainly hopeful she is. Obviously, as time goes by, it gives us concern, but we're searching as though she's alive, and we do believe she could still be alive.
Even the Sheriff's Department said reportedly gone for a bike ride. The police were tight-lipped to the public. They never released what In these cases, they normally do. For example, no mention of the bike model, clothing she was wearing, the time she left at. 100 people were searching, quite a few, though they never asked for the public's help. Though, to be fair, this is May 2020. COVID was, a thing. At one point, the road leading to the Morphew home was blocked off, as if the police were searching there. Although then again, that's just, due diligence. It was all very weird. Then on the 17th of May 2020, Suzanne has been missing for a week. At this stage, her family, or a member of it, came out, right, with a statement to the public. It was husband Barry, and he released this video.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you, we miss you, your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad.
Bullshit.
It's
Definitely bullshit.
hard to keep a straight face on that one. We'll come back to it. Though check this out, right, on May 12th, right, 2 days after Suzanne's missing, Barry, was taking part in the searches. He handed this note to the manager of a store nearby. No contact info on what I presume is a description. Baby blue bike, helmet, biker's clothing. He gave that to somebody, right?
Janine, that's your daughter's name?
Yes, Suzanne Renee, and it was also my sister's name. My sister's name was Suzanne Renee, and I named my daughter Suzanne Renee. Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Thanks for asking,
Cool.
brother.
You need to, do
The
we need
beautiful
somebody
name?
to send
What?
you your rat picture so you can use it as your profile?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. I have to.
It only took me like 5 months to get Janine to change it from
I know.
the green
It's a
J.
Wednesday. I know.
She's the green J forever.
I know. I'm still the green J though in Discord. I'm just because I don't know how to do it there, but I'm getting there.
God.
I was like, hey, if you see that person, I don't know what you're going to do because you can't call me. So the search continued as the weeks, eventually months, went on. Spring turned to summer, searches continued. Residential properties in Salida, water sites, reservoirs. Police asked people to preserve any video footage from cams, that sort of stuff. In June, less than a month after Suzanne disappeared, Barry filed for guardianship of Suzanne, and this was granted. Barry wanted to sell some property they owned back in Indiana. And summer turned to autumn. Suzanne's bike was found, it was later revealed. Found the day she went missing just off a bike trail. And a personal item of Suzanne's a few days later.
Angela, this is a 4-year-old video. But this video has like 1.5 million views on it. So this kid's got a lot of followers or whatever. I just came across it today. So trying to watch everything about her that we can find. Until something else comes out. And Janine does want to change it. She just doesn't know how.
I'll figure it out.
Clicks and stuff.
I believe in you, Janine.
Thank you. Yes, I need
You
that.
can do it.
I know that, right?
You can do it.
Dean,
You
walk
can
me
do
through
it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You just gotta, you see like in like the bottom left corner of StreamYard, there's like your avatar, like it says like your name and it has your avatar, and there's like a little like microphone, and then there's 3 dots next to the microphone. You're gonna want to press on that 3 dots and then edit avatar.
Oh, okay.
But you gotta go find your rat and screenshot it real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Or Toy can send it to you on Discord and you can save it there or something.
Yeah. Mary
B and Lawlene are good at going through there and getting those screenshots. So.
I can screenshot it too. And then I do it with, so now I know what to do. All right. Thank you, Dean. You're
no problem.
Good luck, Dean.
What that meant, you can tell me if you're watching this in the future. In fact, it was revealed that nobody had heard from Suzanne since May the 8th, right? 2 days before she went missing. It was in August 2020 that the facts, rumors, theories about Barry that were, bubbling under the surface kind of finally emerged. It turned out, or at least this is what a member of Suzanne's family said, that he had refused not 1, but 2 polygraphs. Oh dear. Now Barry stresses his innocence the entire time. He was saying the sheriff's department They're the ones that fucked everything up.
He said he is constantly looking for his wife of 26 years. He also went after the sheriff's department for what he described as their mishandling of the investigation.
He finally broke his silence today. He lodged serious accusations against the sheriff's office charged with finding his wife. The sheriff's department screwed this whole thing up from the beginning, and now they're trying to cover it up and blame it on me. He said, quote, "I've never been asked to do a polygraph. There is nothing that I am hiding. I have given 3.5 hours of testimony to the FBI and the CBI. I've answered every question, every single question."
A construction site Barry worked at in Salida, well, a person who lived nearby, told the police that they had heard big, huge vehicles working away on it in the middle of the night on Mother's Day weekend.
However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad.
Now, that interview, that plea didn't exactly yangle my dangle, right? So in September 2020, some more things came out about what Barry was up to on the weekend of Mother's Day, May the 10th, right? Other than, some weird construction noises being heard at a construction site he worked at not far from his home. The night before she vanished, the 9th of May, Barry had spent the night at a Holiday Inn in Denver, working away on a landscaping job, right? Well, maybe. In fact, Barry's whole timeline for the weekend is... So when Barry went back to Salida on May the 10th, after, his wife had been reported missing, he called a co-worker to come up to Denver, take his room, and continue on the construction job, the landscaping job they were the Denver one, right? This guy, named Jeff Puckett, he arrived at the hotel room that night, May the 10th, opened the door, and said the room fucking stank of chlorine, and there were towels everywhere.
Dean, you notice that Angela is doing like a good job at actually modding. Look at that.
Yeah, no, she does a great job, dude.
Yeah, she's got some
MVP. MVP.
Yeah, like Angel does a really, really good job modding, man.
Yeah. She's not focused on herself. She's focused on me.
Angel's the best. We love you, Angel.
The hotel later confirmed to the police they do not use chlorine to clean the rooms, and the pool was closed at the time. He had also left behind some letters, property insurance. This guy also said there was no tools left there by Barry. What was Barry going to use to work the job?
So I want to do this on record. Tell me your side of the story, Barry.
Listen, Jeff Puckett was in prison for 9 years.
Still, Barry had hired Puckett for a project in Broomfield, fixing a wall on what turned out to be the weekend his wife, Suzanne, was reported missing.
So I said, listen, I need to do this job. I will pay you good money to come and help me. I gave him a job and an opportunity. They all jumped on it.
Barry said he'd been planning the project for a month.
That had nothing to do with Suzanne missing.
And Barry paid for Puckett's room, but didn't stay.
And that's why he had to leave for family emergency on Sunday night.
Puckett says he walked into the room set aside for him, and it looked like Barry had spent time inside at some point as well.
Like he wasn't there long, and so it was bought. The bed wasn't hardly slept in, but I wasn't laid in or nothing. Just kind of like laid on or something maybe. Then got in there, took a shower, and that's it. Washed up and left.
Is that Boomhauer?
Are we sure this isn't in Louisiana?
was that
Does
Boomhauer?
anyone know what he said?
Dang old,
Yes,
dang
I
old,
do.
fucking
'Cause
dropped a body, and dang old, I had to do a job. He was in the room, dang old.
He might have just laid on it, but he wasn't there very long. God,
Yeah.
y'all don't get that.
He talking that Cajun. I bet when he get down there with him crawfish, he be killing them things, man.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded like Boomhauer from King
Boring.
of the Hill.
It
personally.
does. That's
Boomhauer
it.
is what I thought too. That's
Boomhauer.
a Texas show.
It smelled real strong, and I'm like, damn. That's just all I thought. But I found the milk next morning, but it just kind of like, this was like an alibi. You know what I'm saying? Just the way the things was.
Yeah, what he said.
I rushed home, left all my tools at the hotel.
He said it's just an alibi.
I've got a family emergency. You're going to have to figure this out on your own.
But Puckett says
Wasn't nothing to work with.
the crew was left high and dry, and the wall couldn't be completed.
Went as far as the dirt to put down there, put it behind the wall. Once you build it up, you got to put you run a layer block, do dirt, get inspected, and then keep continuing on to
That's how I explain to the people that work with me what we're doing.
the next layer. And then wasn't nothing like that to work with. And I got it kind of pissed me off, so I come on back.
He prepared for a month, but didn't leave any tools.
I mean, it's either foul play or an alien got her. I mean, we know aliens, that's kind of far-fetched.
I didn't do nothing wrong in the hotel. There's cameras all over that place. I did nothing wrong. I did not go to the pool, and I did not get chlorine. I'm sure that they washed the rooms with that for the COVID. I don't know. I smelled it too when I was in there.
The hotel says its pool isn't even.
He did what?
What?
He smelled the dude?
No, he was saying that the hotel had to have washed the rooms with something like chlorine for COVID. and they're saying that they didn't, that he smelled the chlorine in there too.
Okay.
They're
Even open
saying the
in
pool
effect
was
of
closed,
ongoing
they didn't use
coronavirus
chlorine.
restrictions.
Do what?
They're saying the pool was closed and they don't use chlorine of any kind to do room cleaning, but the police smelled it in the room, but Barry's saying he smelled it too, so he's blaming it on the hotel.
Oh yeah, I would too.
The room in Denver wasn't the only stinky place Barry was in.
From what I understood, secondhand, they said there was an overwhelming smell of bleach in the home.
That information apparently was relayed by initial investigators.
I've heard the FBI lie, and I know they can legally do that in their investigations, but it just pains me to know that they are doing this to me and my family.
They did ask us, why can't we find any coolers at that house? And I said, well, I have no idea. I wouldn't know how many they had to begin with, but I'd have to assume as a hunter and a guy that maybe camps, he would have a few, and they couldn't find a single one.
There's one person who brought all these people together.
Find my little sister, take her home.
A brother,
Yeah.
a big brother, desperately trying to find his missing sister.
This needs to happen before winter. So my idea is we need to get this search done and get it done now.
Andrew Mormon waited more than 4 months as law enforcement searched the mountains around Salida and found no signs of Suzanne. Volunteers came from as far as Suzanne's hometown in Indiana, 20 hours away, to try and find their missing friend. Andrew has come to terms that his sister is likely gone.
Scared of what I will find and what I won't find. It's a double-edged sword, I'm afraid.
Around this time, September 2020, there was also some claims of another woman that Barry, was like two-timing, or he had moved on at that stage. Now he hadn't. This woman was named Morgan Gentile, and she denied any rumors of any kind of affair, but she was a former employee of Barry's. Hired to work the Denver job the weekend Suzanne went missing. She confirmed Jeff's account of the smelly hotel room in Denver, the chlorine, right? And she said that the day before, on the 9th of May, she'd worked at a job with Barry back in Maysville. She said he was acting weird as shit that day, stressed. And he told her to go home early that day because he was going to spend some time with Suzanne. They were going to go do shit together. She later said she was scared of Barry. So, timeline is very strange. Now, the reason I'm mentioning all this is because there's so much speculation in this case. A lot of information has not been released by the police. It's what Barry was up to that weekend that's notable. When did he go to Denver? He was working at a site with Morgan in Maysville on Saturday, finished up early, then went to Suzanne. Then there were construction sounds that night at a site near Salida. Then he goes to Denver that night. The next morning, Suzanne is reported missing. Barry goes from Denver back to Maysville. Another employee takes his room, finds chlorine. Weird shit. We'll find out the truth, or at least what the police uncovered soon. Like I said, though, throughout all this, Barry said he was innocent. He said he had nothing to do with whatever happened to Suzanne. And the months went by with nobody finding anything. Although pretty much everybody was looking at Barry, he himself was throwing out abduction theories. She was taken, or mountain lions, or she just had a random accident. And that's what happened to his wife of 2.5 decades. In October, the Morphew house was put up for sale. It sold the next year in March 2021.
March.
Put it on record, Barry, right now. If people think that you did it, what would you tell them?
Absolutely not. I love my wife. I would never hurt my wife. She is the light of my and my daughter's life.
Then, on the 5th of May 2021, almost a year to the day after Suzanne Morphew vanished, guess what? Well, you don't actually have to guess, because I'll tell you. Barry was arrested. He was arrested near his home in Poncha Springs. His house was also searched. Over the course of the investigation, 70 investigators conducted over 135 search warrants, interviewed 400 people, and followed up on 1,400 tips. Despite all of this, Suzanne's body to date has been found. Suzanne's brother, Andy, theorized that Suzanne was killed on May the 9th, that this was a case of domestic abuse. She never went on any bike trip. Barry was stressed on May the 9th. Then he went back, perhaps killed Suzanne, dumped her body somewhere, and then went to Denver to make it seem like, he had an alibi. Barry was charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempt to influence a public servant. Suzanne's sister would later say Suzanne had expressed fears about her safety, which, to no one's surprise.
I wonder what the influence on a public servant charge was.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
And about how the marriage had gone to shite. Former employee.
Huh?
Does that just mean you lied to a cop?
I don't know. Trying to influence?
He
Maybe
was
trying to get somebody off or something?
Right.
He was
somebody.
talking about
sounds
how poor of a job the police were doing and trying to point the finger, but then he did get the original DA disbarred, so I don't
What
know
up,
what else
Connor?
to get.
Dean Connor's here. You were asking about him.
Was it?
Oh,
Hey, Connor.
Hey.
Well, what's going on, man?
I was just kidding. Dean didn't really ask about you.
But Laura, broke down the new indictment and went over the press conference by the new DA, and it
Yeah,
was
we
really
played the press conference the day before LYK.
yeah. I remember seeing the
You
press
were here.
conference with you, but he broke
Mm-hmm.
down some of the stuff she was saying in the question
I
and
don't want to
answer
watch
part.
LYK. I'd
Well,
have
the
had
indictment was
enough
interesting.
LYK.
For people who don't know the details of the case, y'all should read the indictment. It's really interesting,
Mm.
I bet it's
especially
about
vehicle
40.
data.
I bet it's a long one. But thought y'all might get a kick out of this too before we start the trial watch.
Oh, Boston is
This is from 4 years ago.
he's so dreamy.
Did y'all know that they that he had a page for his law firm? I don't know if he still has that law firm or whatever.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
he's gonna
United
do it
Criminal
again.
Defense Law Firm. So they put this video out 4 years ago. I don't know what it's about. I didn't watch it, but we'll speed it up, see if it's any good. It's about a trial he was working.
Oh, Jeffrey Curley.
A client is
Yeah,
looking
Curly.
for an attorney to actually be able to see that attorney in a courtroom-like setting, doing what the attorney is ultimately going to do for the client. In my case, I was asked in late 2008 by Massachusetts Lawyers Weekly to participate in an event that's called the Battle of the Lawyers, which is sort of a forum
Misty.
for attorneys to
Misty.
recreate
Misty's here.
famous or infamous closing.
Yep. I wish everybody that was coming would stay here. We'd have like 22 people.
We'll get
Arguments
there.
that they've done over the course of their careers. And it's a competition, it's for charity. And I was honored to be selected to participate. In 2008, I recreated a closing argument that I had done back in 1998 when I was a prosecutor.
Damn. All right, we can watch that later.
It was amazing. Have you seen that? His I think it was his closing for that horrific Jeffrey Curley, poor baby that was killed by those two monsters. That is worth watching sometime. It's amazing.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch it. If we can find just that specifically. Yeah, I don't know what I was in that video. It's only like 18 minutes, but
I have watched it. I'll look for it. And also, did you guys watch Yanesi on Duty Ron and Ed tonight? That was amazing also. That was great because they got into a lot of the police misconduct, just the lack of investigation. And Duty Ron, what I love Ed Wallace. I think he's just extraordinary. He's exceptional. And they were talking about doing a round two because there was so much. The Duty Ron said that he had like 4 pages of notes that he couldn't even get to because it was just there was so much there. So that's right. I posted it in all the different discords if you guys are curious about that.
hell yeah. All right, remember the rules that Lawlene can't follow, Dean. But everybody else,
Only Dean can talk about the case, but women aren't allowed to.
you can talk to the media. No, you can talk to the media only.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if ABC calls you, you can talk to them. Turtle Boy calls you, you can talk to him. But you are the jury. No backstory, Prince Lover. And you better not have went Prince Lover and tried to look up on this trial. Dean's fixing to check your browser history. Telling you.
Only to like steer attention away from my browser history.
Oh, definitely. You don't want to go in there.
Only for that reason.
Furries everywhere in Dean. I knew he'd get that. He'd be the only one that get that.
I got
All right.
it. I know the raptor story.
Oh God. All right, here
Oh,
we
I thought it was
go.
something else then. I don't know the
There's
raptor
a
story. Is Dean going to tell us the raptor story?
No, no.
no,
no, you stop.
no, not today.
All
But
right.
anyways,
All
y'all
right.
remember where we were? We were on this kid, and we're almost to the end of the direct examination. I think
These kids.
we're not on Small Seagal yet, but you'll know when Small Seagal gets up because you'll see them.
Bro, I
on the-
can feel Small Seagal's energy, and he's not even on the fucking camera right now.
No, I know.
My pressure points are fucking shaking.
If 1-5 is too fast, let me know.
They just busted you and came back and forth. But they came back and forth.
Crossed the house multiple times.
Okay, and when they crossed the house multiple times, what, if anything, did you observe people from the car doing?
They were throwing things at us. We were throwing things at them.
What kind of things were they throwing at you?
I believe there was a WD-40 can, like a water jug of some sort.
And when those things were thrown at you guys, what, if anything, did you observe your group of friends do?
Throw it back.
You threw it back at them. Okay. Did you witness anybody throw anything and hit the car?
I don't recall if anyone hit the car.
Are you aware if the car was hit with anything?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay. And at some point in time, did they stop driving back and forth in front of Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Okay. And when they stopped doing that, what, if anything, did you observe as to where the car went?
They had moved towards where Farmhouse Lane is and stopped the car up like on the corner of it.
So for the jury and the record benefit, this is stage one. If we're looking at stage one, they're somewhere in the area of the intersection of Farmhouse and Laurel Glen?
Yes.
Okay. And would you say they were in front? Did you see them in front of this house?
And I also want to watch the video, but every time I pull it up, anywhere I pull it up from, it's got a fucking disclaimer and a warning and shit you got to go through. So I really don't think it'd be wise for us to play it on
What video?
the video of the actual fight. There's some phone videos from they were standing around recording.
Oh my God. I mean, that would be really hard to watch, but if we can watch, I mean, obviously it has to be a little bit censored, right? You don't want to see what happened to Jimmy, right? But
Yeah, I'd have to watch it first.
right.
Is that part of the trial, though?
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll show that
right
in
Yeah,
the
they're
trial.
gonna show it in the trial, but I don't know if they'll show it to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Misty, this is the Preppy murder trial, Preppy party murder trial. Went down 2 years ago. They just started the trial 4 days ago. We're trying to catch up.
Or was it more towards the intersection?
I was far away, so.
Yeah,
You couldn't tell exactly, but they were in this area.
Yeah, that was.
And you're on the record, like the witness was saying they were in the area of the intersection of Farmhouse Road and
Dean, Misty doesn't know the rules.
Okay, so essentially, we're the jurors. We're not allowed to talk about the case, even though we were just talking about the video and stuff. We're trying to be good jurors. And we're
not
only allowed to
looking it up.
talk to the media.
Yeah, we're only allowed to listen to the testimony, and then we're gonna try to catch up before the verdict. And give them
Yeah,
our
so
own
we can
verdict.
deliberate.
But we're
Danny
pretty
just
sure
wants
it's
us all
good.
to sit down and shut up.
36.
Hey, you getting it?
Noted, thank you.
And when you were down the road, when you saw them, the car stop down the road, did you observe anything about the occupants of the car?
I think two of them had gotten out.
And could you see who got out of the car?
No, I could not see specifically.
Okay. And when you noticed those individuals get out of the car, what if anything did you observe next?
Two of my friends, maybe more, but Ricky and Tyler began walking down to go speak with them.
And when you say Ricky, you mean Ricky Fiola?
Yes.
And when you say Tyler, you mean Tyler Rich?
Yes.
Okay. And they went down the road. Did you see them go down all the way down the road?
I saw them when they got pretty close, and then I headed back inside.
Did you observe Tyler Rich or Ricky Fiola do anything when they were going down the road?
No.
Did you hear anything as to not what people said, but did you hear anything, any argument or anything down the road from where you were?
No.
Okay. And you say that at some point in time you went back into the house?
Yeah.
And when you went back into the house, how did you enter Tyler's house?
Same way I left. There's a
Okay.
basement door.
So you walked. Before you get back into the house, can you show me on stage 49 where you were standing when the car finally went down the road?
Yeah, kind of like around the mailbox, like poked out in the road a little bit. Just saw the boys walking down there.
My finger's pointed in the road here, just in front of the mailbox, 49. Is that about where you were standing?
Yeah, in that general area.
And when you went back, the record reflects my fingers pointed in front of the mailbox, just about maybe 5 feet into the road.
Portal noted, thank you.
And when you went.
Tombstones. Hey, Tombstones. What's up? And make sure y'all go like Tombstone's page. She's gonna try to go live, start going live every now and then, doing some like cemetery walkthroughs and stuff. Be pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
went back into
Say it again.
I said cool.
Tyler Rich's house, did you?
Say it again.
No.
You walk up the driveway, go inside the Bilko doors, or did you go in
Almost
the house
got
a
one.
different way?
I took the same route.
And when you were back in the house, when you were back in Tyler Rich's house, how long would you say you were in Tyler Rich's house for at that time?
A few minutes.
Few minutes. And when you were back in Tyler Rich's house, were you consuming any alcohol?
No.
And how many people would you say were inside the house when you went back inside the house at that moment?
Almost all of us.
Okay. And at some point in time, did you come back outside the house?
Yes.
And why did you go back outside the house?
Because they had came back.
When you say they had come back, who came back?
Well, when we got outside, Lito and DeSilva were out of their car.
Okay. Now, show you stage 52. Okay. Now, when you came out of the house, what route did you take?
The same route I had been taken. We veered a little left because they were approaching towards the yard.
To show you stage 50, a little closer view. When you came out of Tyler Rich's house, you came out this side of the house where the Bilko doors were?
Yeah.
And I'm pointing to the area just in front of, there's an opening between some trees in the house just in front of the blue truck here, right?
Yep.
Okay. And when you came out of the house, what route did you take?
Kind of like exactly where that blue truck is, and then went cut towards the grass.
So did you come down to the left side of the blue truck and go out to the right this way over to the cement block area, or did you go out of the side of the house and take a right in front of the blue truck past the black truck and come down the we'll call it the driver's side of the black truck?
I mean, the blue truck wasn't there at the time, so we kind of just walked down like exactly where it is, and then like bended into the grass.
So I may have a moment. I'm going to show you stage 5. When you came out of the Bilko doors, right where this air conditioning unit is, in front of the opening where this blue truck is, did you come down the left side of this blue truck and through the middle of the blue truck and the white Jeep, or did you come down the passenger side of this blue truck towards this area?
The passenger side.
So you came out the Bilko door, took a quick left, and then down the grass area where the cobblestone block is?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you end up when you first went outside?
Like right in between that slab and red bush in that area.
Okay, so I'm showing you states. For the record, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This 652.
Thank you.
This is a more recent picture. Was this green tree here?
No.
Okay. And when you came down, can you point to the area in stage 52 where you came, where you stood?
In this general vicinity area.
Okay, so in the record reflect just above the area of this square.
What's up, Joe Biffle? Joe the Biffle? Anybody need a VCR repair? Tombstones hangs out in cemetery. She's probably got some old VCRs she needs worked on, Joe. There's you some business right there, buddy. See? I do my part.
Cement, looks like possibly a septic cap thing here and the red bush.
All right, so noted. Thank you.
And when you stood there, what was the lighting like at that point?
I think there might have been a light on from the driveway, slightly illuminating. It was dim lit. Moon was out. It wasn't terribly dark. You were able to see.
Did anybody have flashlights on?
Yeah.
Okay. What were they using to illuminate what was going on?
Phone flashlights.
Okay. And when you got outside, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you observed initially when you got to that area.
So when we get outside, the cars pulls up, facing towards Adams, kind of like.
Do you know where it's parked in that picture, 52?
It's like the car would be right here. This would be the car.
So can the record reflect that the car is parked in 52 to the right lower area, which would appear to be the middle of the road?
Carl noted. Thank you. Cordell noted. Thank you.
So when the car was parked there, tell me what you observed.
Lito and DeSilva hop out of the car, start approaching the property. Obviously, there's arguments going back and forth.
How were they approaching the property? Can you recall how they were approaching the property?
They were just, or like if I was like how I saw them.
Yeah.
From my view, the one on the right was DeSilva. Lito was on the left, so on Tyler's right.
So if I'm standing in that area where you pointed out in 52 between the red bush and what looks like to be the septic cap, we'll call it that. You see Tyler DeSilva to your right and Lito to your left, the defendant?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody else with them?
The driver, but they were just alone out of the vehicle.
And when you observed Tyler and the defendant get out of the car, how many people from your group were outside?
Majority.
And do you recall if there was, not what people said, but do you recall if there was a verbal interaction between anybody from your group and the defendant and or Tyler DeSilva?
Yeah, there was stuff being said back and forth.
What kind of things? Not what they said, but what was the manner in which the things were being said?
Argumentative.
Okay. And was your group being argumentative?
Both parties.
So the defendant and Tyler DeSilva were being argumentative back?
Yeah.
Did it look like they were trying to be peaceful?
No, but neither did we.
And so can you tell on States 52 where approximately you observed Tyler DeSilva was as opposed to where the defendant was?
This would be probably about DeSilva. It'd be about right here.
And when there was an interaction between your group and the defendant and Mr. DeSilva, where did that verbal interaction take place?
As they were walking up, a little bit on the grass as well.
A little bit on the grass, just past the curb area? Okay. And who was talking to, not what was said, who was talking to Tyler DeSilva or arguing with Tyler DeSilva at that moment? Do you recall?
A couple of people. Rich was arguing with him. He was also said some words towards both of them. Everyone was kind of talking.
So Tyler Rich was talking to Tyler DeSilva?
At one point.
Do you recall anybody else from your friend group talking to Tyler DeSilva?
Not specifically.
Do you recall whether or not anybody was withdrawn? How far apart were Tyler DeSilva and the defendant?
They weren't terribly far apart, maybe a couple feet, 5 to 8.
Okay. And do you recall who out of your group of friends was anybody having a discussion or near the defendant at this moment?
Hines was near the area.
Ryan Hines was near the defendant?
My buddy Ty Wood was confronting him.
How do you know Ty Wood?
Known him my whole life. My sister and his brother were friends. We played sports together.
And obviously he was at the party that night as well. Who else, if anybody, do you recall being near the defendant at that moment?
I'm not sure of anyone else.
But from what you recall Ty Wood and Ryan Hines?
Yes.
Okay. And how was the defendant's demeanor with regards to your friends Ryan Hines and Ty Wood?
They were both ready, just like ready to fight.
Okay. And how long would you say there was this verbal altercation going on back and forth on May 14th of 2020?
Not very long.
Maybe you say not very long.
Minute or two.
Okay. And after a minute or two, did something happen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you observed happen?
Ty and Lito had been arguing. It looked like Lito was about to swing on Ty, so Rich stepped in front and struck Lito.
So Tyler Rich punched the defendant in the face?
Yes.
Okay. And when Tyler Rich punched the defendant in the face, what happened next?
Well, the fight begins, and his whole interactions, or Lito's whole interactions, kind of get out of my view from the crowd of people that are all just in front of me. So I can't really see him. But then I see DeSilva, and he starts getting into it, and then him and Rich actually end up in like a wrestling match, basically in the lawn.
And who do you recall being in the area of Tyler Rich and Tyler DeSilva's fight?
Like Locke, Villalobos, Alex Bernstein was in the area.
When you say Locke, you mean Matt Locke?
Lockovich, yeah.
And Tyler Rich?
Yeah.
And Jacob Villalobos? Who else? Do you recall anybody else?
Not specifically, no.
And
Spacey Stacy's in the atmosphere, y'all. Floating around with her helmet on.
Hey.
Hey, my movie buddy.
When you were
One of them. Where's
You
Rubicon?
seen her pictures, Janine?
I have.
That's one
no.
cool rat.
Oh, let me see. Oh no, I love it.
That's
I
one
love.
cool
Yeah, I
rat.
have seen Spacey's her rat representation.
Joe Biffle's got one too. I don't know if he knows that.
were observing the fight between Tyler DeSilva and Tyler Rich. Did you have an idea? Were you aware of what was going on with the defendant?
No.
Okay.
I knew he was in a fight. I could see it, but I couldn't see specifics.
Do you recall how many people he was in a fight with?
No.
Okay. And when the fight's going on, withdrawn. Did you have any weapons on you that night?
No.
Did you see Tyler Rich with any weapons on him that night?
No.
Did you see Ty Wood with any weapons on him that night?
No.
Did you see Ryan Hines with any weapons on him that night?
No.
Did you see Jacob Villalobos with any weapons on him that night?
No.
Did you see Matt Lockovich with any weapons on him that night?
No.
Did you see Sal Perry with any weapons on him that night? How about Mike Sampieri? Did he have any weapons on him that night?
Not to my knowledge.
How about Charlie Connery? Did he have any weapons on him that night? How about Tommy Connery? Did he have any weapons on him that night? How about FaZe?
Joe Toy made you a avatar. I'll scroll through the video here and show it to you in a minute. You can just screenshot it, make it your profile picture if you want to. If you look around, everybody but Janine.
Santillo, did you see any weapons on him?
No.
Did you see Jimmy that during the fight?
Not during the fight.
Not during the fight. Do you know if he had any weapons on him?
Avatar. Yes.
So when the fight's going on, you lose sight of what the defendant's doing and you kind of focus on Tyler Rich and Tyler DeSilva. How long would you say you were, did you move at any point in time from where you were during that fight?
I might have creeped about where that tree is, and maybe right on the cement, just watching.
So you were in that general area?
I stayed in that area mainly.
Do you recall anybody being near you at the time?
Tanner
Chernowski was near you?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long would you say that withdrawn? Tell us what you observed about the fight that you did observe.
It was quick. They were on the ground. I remember they were wrestling, grabbing at each other. I saw DeSilva's whole back out because his shirt was pulled up a little bit. They were just kind of wrestling, and then it wasn't very long. Not a very long interaction.
Joe says he wants to do live shows about stupid stuff and try to take my co-host Dean from me. No, Now, stupid stuff is what we do. That's why we're here. Me, it will be direct competition. And Dean will leave. So that's just the way he is.
A couple of the dudes pick him up onto his feet, push him out into the street, and tell him to get lost, basically.
And when that occurs, at any point in time, did you observe the defendant do anything?
Yeah, so while the interaction with the Silva's ending, the defendant runs to the car. You see the car door open because the lights turn on from inside the car, and then he runs back into the fight.
And so, just so we're clear, Stage 52, during this point in time, you're somewhere in this area? Yeah. And that's between the square cement block, septic cap here, and this tree that was not there at the time? Yeah. And the car is somewhere in this area here, just in front of the mailbox, maybe a little further back as well. Okay, maybe so, probably around just the lower right-hand portion of 52. And you observe the defendant run to the car? Yes. And when you observe him run to the car, what does he do? He runs back to the fight. And when he runs back into the fight, where did you observe where Tyler DeSilva was?
He's kind of like in the road now at this point because he was pushed out into the road.
Was anybody fighting with Tyler DeSilva at that moment?
No.
Okay. And when the defendant runs back into the fight, what, if anything, what's wrong? How would you describe the scene of the fight? Was it chaotic?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of kids?
A lot of kids.
And when the defendant runs back into the fight, what, if anything, did you hear at that moment?
My buddy Charlie yells that he has a knife.
And when you heard Charlie yell that he has a knife, what, if anything, did you observe next?
I didn't observe. Like from that point, it was a crowd of people, and then it broke out in chaos. People started yelling, screaming, and then I had seen Jimmy, and he had these white shorts on. They were stained completely red, and I looked away, and a bunch of people flooded to him to help him.
Stage 57. Is that the outfit you recall Jimmy wearing the night of May 14th of 2022 with the white shirt?
Yes.
Little Miss Red Velvet's here. Everybody say
Little Miss. I was just I just said not because of you, but just because of God, this kid.
Yeah.
Little Miss.
But we are
Little
moving
Miss.
on though with new content. So at least we got something to play.
Yes.
Got some shit coming up. But if you got any good Karen Reed updates that I haven't played or we haven't played, just send them to me and we'll play them in a little while.
And when you saw Jimmy, when the defendant came back into the fight, did you observe a knife on him at that point?
I couldn't. I still had no eyes. I saw once he ran back from the car. I lost sight of him because of the crowd.
Okay. When you say there were a crowd, were there people in front of you where you were standing between the tree and the in that cement square in Stage 52?
Not many. Majority was more into the grass, which is where he was. And I was like, that's why I had the view I had of the car and the fight. And once he ran back towards the curb, he was not in my vision anymore.
Do you recall where Jimmy was at this moment? Did you see Jimmy?
I had known he was on the far side of the interaction.
Okay. And when you heard Charlie yell, he's got a knife, you didn't observe the defendant with anything. What did you observe next after you heard that?
It erupted and everyone started screaming. Some people were crying, yelling, freaking out. Once I had noticed Jimmy, I was shocked. I was 16 years old. I didn't know what to do. And then I had noticed Charlie was freaking out because his brother Tommy had been stabbed, and Charlie was like my best friend at the time. So I had taken my hoodie off, gave it to him, was like put it on his leg.
Let's stop there. So what did you observe first about Jimmy? You saw Jimmy first?
I noticed the red on his shorts. That was what I noticed.
Did you hear him say anything?
I did not.
Did he do anything? Did you see him do anything?
He fell to the ground.
So you saw red on the shorts and he fell to the ground. When you saw that happen, what did you do next?
I was moving towards him. Then like a couple people instantly grabbed onto him and were catering to him. And then I noticed Tommy interacted with Charlie, gave him my hoodie. Do you recall where Tommy was at that moment? If you don't, it's okay. He was like in the middle of the yard.
Okay. And did you go up to Tommy?
I did.
And what did you observe about
Rubicon's here with us. She was lurking. Lurker.
Tommy?
That he had been stabbed in the leg.
Okay. Do you recall if he had been stabbed more than once?
Yeah, I believe 3 or 4 times.
And when you saw that he was stabbed, what, if anything, did you do?
I had taken my hoodie off. I gave it to Charlie first to give to, and told him to give it to Tommy.
And when that happened, what did you do next?
I ran back inside to look for anything, towels, water. While I was like searching for things, I believe I was with Tanner. We had noticed Hines was sitting, and I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he said he was catching his breath, and he was hunched over with his hand on his left side, holding it. And then he moved his hand, and we had noticed that he was bleeding. And we took him out. We were, dude, like, come on, you got to get in the ambulance. You got to go. And then it kind of just all, once everyone started getting treated, it was all just like a blur.
Where was Ryan stabbed?
He was stabbed once, like right beneath his armpit, and like the lower, I don't even know what this area is, your lower side, and then right above his butt.
Okay. And do you recall where Tommy was stabbed?
In his thigh.
Do you recall if anybody else had been stabbed that night?
Faison had been caught in the arm, and obviously Jimmy.
Now, when you went inside to help Ryan, at some point in time, did you come back outside with towels and
I didn't find anything, but I just kept using my clothing.
So, did you or anybody call 911?
Yeah, multiple people did.
How long would you say, withdrawn? After, when you saw Jimmy fall, did you see the defendant and Tyler DeSilva do anything?
The last I saw them was them run to their car and drive off, and then they weren't in my mind anymore.
And where did they drive? Did they drive towards Adams or towards the farmhouse?
Towards Adams.
Okay. And when 911 was called, how long would you say it was between the time the end of the fight took place and the time the first responders arrived? You recall?
I don't recall specifically. I remember it taking a decent amount of time because a lot of people were complaining that the ambulance wasn't there fast enough.
And
we were there.
When you were waiting for the first responders to arrive to the scene, were you doing anything at that moment? Were you rendering aid to anybody?
Not at that point. Once they came, they made us all back up. They took over, obviously, took care of everything. And at that point, I finally answered my mom because throughout the whole interaction, she was blowing up my phone from hearing the sirens all driving by. And I finally, answered her, talked to her.
Okay. And at some point in time, did your parents arrive at 43 Laurel Glen?
I don't recall if they picked me up or not.
Did you, at some point in time, first responders arrived, police, paramedics? Do you recall whether or not you talked to any police officers that night?
I believe I did.
And after that night, do you recall whether or not you met with police officers again in connection to this case?
I did.
They may have moved on.
Give it to small already. Here we go. Here we go, boys. You ready, Dean? Dean's gone to smoke a cigarette. All right, ladies. Janine, I know you look at that.
Oh, that's small cigar.
This is small. Well, Connor wants to call him small Samal.
Seagal, right?
Yeah.
Would that not be
But
the case? Seagal.
Small cigar runs right off the tongue, you know.
It does.
You won't.
So does this guy. So does this guy. Don't get close to him. He's already got 12 girlfriends.
Oh my God. And 2 ponytails.
Like, why?
You got that many girlfriends, you need 2 ponytails.
There you go. More to grab.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they considered pigtails at that point?
I think he's going to come into the deliberations with his hair braided.
This man has pigtails right now.
Oh, he's
Like
got
Little
pigtails
House on
on
the
it.
Prairie. Like, what's her name?
Mary B,
Laura?
that's talking all that smack. You'll definitely be 13. You better watch out.
Laura Ingalls style.
Well, he's in Connecticut too. He's not very far.
I got standards, man. I don't date guys with pigtails.
Well, can they legally represent you in court? Your other boyfriends? No, they can't.
That's a good
Small
point.
cigar? He can't.
I do need a lawyer in
File
my
motions after
Yeah.
David.
To add a
Whatever you
lawyer
need.
into the mix, Mary
Yeah,
B. But
You
I
need
don't know.
affidavits? He's
Paul
got 'em.
Seagal is the guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like someone without pigtails if possible.
Yeah, but he can protect you legally and physically. Like
Mary
anybody
B,
that
you're not-
comes at you, he could just hit
Exactly.
one pressure point and explode your heart.
Exactly. And plus, you're
their
not
heart.
thinking about what happens when he pulls that that pink ponytail holder out and lets the hair go. Yeah,
I
2
actually think that he's
ponytails
hiding
with his hair.
daggers in his
Got some
ponytails.
flow, right?
And I could borrow his hair tie if I forgot mine.
Oh, y'all could tie your hair together.
Oh my God. So romantic.
You'll be saying that until next week.
Oh, Tombstones. I haven't seen him again. But
Pinky, right? Tying the hair together.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that. Mary B got a typed computer,
it's
not a
typed by a
computer printed,
friggin' keyboard.
like a hammer typer, like
Typewriter.
old school. Old school.
Yeah, so he hasn't been back in, but my coworkers are like, if we see him, we'll just go run out there and you can hide
Did he
somewhere.
leave a number for you to call and answer the letter, or were you supposed to just?
Yeah, there was a phone number at it on the bottom.
Well, you should have just called him and told him you weren't interested.
I don't want to call him.
Well, how else are you gonna get your phone number?
I
That's a
mean,
good
this
point.
dude sounds like he probably already has it. Like,
Oh, he definitely got her phone
Kinda
number. There's no doubt.
I mean, it's
No
not
doubt.
that hard to find.
Do you notice cigarette
bathroom
big pile of
walls
cigarette butts right down the street on the side of the road?
Oh God.
Hell
Yeah.
You seen an old Chevy, like a Chevy 442 down the road?
He's so weird.
We begged her to contact the FBI. She's not going to listen to us, but she could probably solve a lot of cold cases by turning in that note.
Well, a lot of people know who he is at work, so if anything happens, they know who to go after.
All I can tell you is don't run out to get ice cream from the ice cream truck. It's not
I'm
the
pretty
ice
sure I
cream
could
man.
kick his ass, honestly.
It's not the ice cream man, Mary B.
Oh, well,
It's
that's
this
one
guy.
way to get me. Ice
You
cream.
know he's got an ice cream truck. Let's get into some of
So
this.
you were
There
telling
better
us
be
a little
taco
bit about the
tacos in
relationship
there.
with some of these folks, as well as
Couldn't get Small Cigar like a 1 foot step so he could see over the fucking podium.
what you witnessed on the 14th into the morning of the 15th, right? And you were telling us that the evening began. You were getting ready over to go over to Miss Ridzik's house, correct? That was about 6 o'clock.
Maybe a little later.
Okay. And that involved some drinking as far as getting ready to go over there.
While we were there, yeah.
While you were at Ridzik's house?
Yeah, the initial time.
Okay. What about beforehand when you were getting ready to go over there? Did that involve any drinking?
No.
Any other substance use?
No.
You told us that once you got to Ridzik's house, you had a drink, maybe 2 beers, maybe 3, maybe 4.
No, because I didn't have that many. I wasn't able to get anything for that night really, so I didn't have much. So I was just kind of.
Well, you were there with Ryan Hines, correct?
Yes.
And he had a 12-pack of beer, correct? You didn't have any of those beers?
No, I don't believe he gave me any.
Is it possible?
I don't think so. Possible?
Sustain.
Because when we showed up to the lifers, he had.
Hold on just a minute.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm going to sustain the objection to the question, asking if it's possible, it's speculative. I'm going to strike the response that was provided to that question before the court had an opportunity to stop the witness from answering the question. So please retract or take any information responding to that question out of your notes. If you have anything in there, you're not to consider it as part of the evidence. Attorney Smith, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So your recollection is that it was 2 beers that you had at Ritzik's house? Nothing else to drink there?
No.
Ryan didn't share any of his beers with you?
No.
And at some point, you went over to the Lifers' house, correct?
Yes.
And that was 5 Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
And you knew that they were having a party there, correct?
Yes.
Or you expected that there would be more drinking going on, correct?
Potentially.
Well, when you arrived there, you knew that your friend, Mr. Lifer, was drunk to the point of being ill, correct?
I had found that out from them when I had arrived.
Because you didn't see him because he was in the back throwing up, correct?
I didn't see him because I wasn't allowed into the property by the defendant and his friends.
And you were driven to 5 Lazy Brook Road by...
And I would also like to remind everybody that Small Cigar's kicking that skull ring, baby. This ain't no game. This ain't no game. Telling you.
By a person named Tanner Chernowski, correct?
Yes.
And you described...
It's a fashion statement.
Blood, essentially. We've been family friends since we were young.
So he's not your blood cousin or relative, but you consider him so close as to be, you call him a cousin?
Yes.
Now, but when you got there, you mentioned that there were some kids from St. Joe's at that party, correct?
Yeah, it was a St. Joe's party.
It
Often
was a
attended
St. Joe's
St.
party.
Joe's, yes.
So most of the kids there were from St. Joe's, correct?
Yes.
You were not from St. Joe's?
No, I was not.
Nor was Ryan Hines, correct?
No.
Nor was Tanner Chernowski?
No.
And there were 4 kids there, but you from St. Joe's that you noticed, but only 3 of them who you could identify, correct?
Yeah.
And that was Jack Snyder, correct? Tyler De Silva, correct? And Raul Valley, correct? You knew them to be St. Joe's kids, right?
Yes.
You said that Mr. Hines had brought a 12-pack of beer with him?
Yes.
And that you began to go into the garage, correct?
Yes.
Could you see what was going on in the garage?
Yeah, the garage doors were open.
And there was a party going on in the garage, right?
They were inside, so they were really the only ones in the garage, maybe a couple other stragglers outside, but the party was in the house.
Nothing going on that you could see inside, like beer pong or any games?
No, the door was shut. The way it's set up, you can't see into the house.
And you didn't know at that time who Jack Snyder, Tyler De Silva, or Raul Valley were, is that correct?
Not fully. I had known Snyder and De Silva just like through football, not like personally knew them, but heard the name before.
Okay. So at that point, when you saw them, you couldn't say what their names were. Is that fair to say? Correct. And at some point, you said that Jack Snyder went to grab Ryan Hines' beer, correct?
He did grab Ryan Hines' beer.
He grabs Ryan Hines' beer, and then you said the defendant didn't say anything, correct?
Not to my recollection. I don't recall what everyone was saying.
And that he was peripheral to Mr. Hines and Mr. Snyder, correct?
Yes.
And at some point, Mr. Hines and Mr. Snyder squared off, right?
Yeah.
As though they were going to have a fist fight or some sort of physical
Yeah,
altercation.
they agreed to fight over the beer.
Okay. When you say they agreed to fight over the beer, were there any adults present at this point, or was this just...
Witnessing this, no. I think maybe a parent or two, both of them were home. I know his mom was home.
And you claim that the first punch was thrown by the defendant?
Yes.
And that he punched Ryan Hines in the face from behind, correct? And you said that Hines then took Snyder to the ground?
Yes.
Now, you've described and you saw a photograph of Mr. Valley wearing a helmet, correct? And he was also wearing some sort of a neck pillow. Did you see that?
Outside, I'm not too exactly sure if he had it on still or not. It was a black or a dark colored pillow. It was nighttime. I don't recall exactly if he was wearing the neck pillow.
And that was Austin Light for your friend. That was his father's motorcycle helmet,
I
correct?
believe so, yeah.
And at some point after they began fighting, you said that Mr. Hines was getting the better of Mr. Snyder, correct?
I'd say he was thrown to the ground. He was on top of him.
And at that point, you said that the defendant tackled Ryan Hines, correct?
No, he removed his helmet and struck him.
Well, that's what you told us now. You gave a statement to the police officers on May 15th of 2022, correct?
Yeah.
You went there with your parents at about 2 o'clock down to the PD to give a statement?
Sounds about right.
And you told them at that time that the defendant tackled Ryan and punched him, correct?
They might have taken that incorrectly because Hines was the only person that tackled anyone. He thought, or he took him to the ground. I watched him tackle him, and no one else went to the ground either.
So you didn't tell them that that the defendant tackled Ryan and punched him?
If they marked me as saying that, then on paper I did, but I recall Hines tackling.
And you told us here, and you told them then that the defendant took off his helmet and swung it at Mr. Hines, correct?
Yeah, he struck him with it.
He took that helmet physically off of his head and swung it and struck Mr. Hines.
Yes, he hit Hines with it.
And then Mr. De Silva jumped in afterwards, correct?
Yeah, he didn't contribute much to it, but yeah.
He began punching and kicking Ryan Hines on the ground, correct?
Yeah.
That's your recollection. That's what you're certain of today.
Yeah, he wasn't very much so involved. He was the last one to enter in, and by then it got broken up pretty fast.
And you were prevented from helping because this fourth unknown person was holding you back, right?
I wasn't sort of say be held back because we were initially watching because they agreed to fight one-on-one, and that was agreed upon both. They were fine with it. The second they get active, like things happened, and then the girl hops in. I'm off to the side. I had no clue who I was standing with, and we were talking about it. And he was like, "Don't get involved." He was telling me not to because he was like, "You're in that. Like, there's 3 of them."
There were adults at this house, you think?
What do you like? Parents?
Yes.
His mom was home. Yeah.
You were aware of that?
I wasn't until she came outside when the fight got broken up.
But so you claim that these two agreed to fight Mr. Snyder and Mr. Hines, and you decided you were just going to watch the thing.
They said they were running one-on-one fight. Hines was like, it's not allowed to be said, but they said they agreed upon ones.
You didn't make any efforts to notify any parents inside the house that this was going on out in their driveway?
I didn't know they were in the driveway or in the house. Sorry.
You said the fight lasted a short time, maybe as much as 30 to 40 seconds?
As much as 40. Nothing like.
And afterwards, Mr. Leifer's mother came outside and asked you to leave, correct?
Yeah, which we were more than fine with doing.
And she gave the beers back to Mr. Hines, correct?
I didn't exactly see if she picked them up or if she handed them to him. She could have.
And at that point, you got a ride back to Ms. Ridsick's house, Natalia Ridsick's house, correct?
Yes.
Who gave you that ride?
I do not know her name. We had been walking down the driveway. We had met a group of girls, and they had witnessed what happened, and we offered, you guys mind bringing us home, and they had no problem with it.
Do you don't recall who that was?
I do not recall their names.
And you told us that you weren't doing any drinking on the way back to Ms. Ridsick's house, correct?
No, I didn't have anything. Once I had gotten to Austin's, I had no alcohol.
You didn't have any of Mr. Hines' beers that he had just gotten back?
He lost the majority of them in that yard, so he was not in the mood to be giving them out.
And you immediately called your friends, Thomas and Charlie Connery, right?
No, I believe Charlie called me.
And you told them about what had occurred there at the 5 Lacerbrook house, right?
Yeah.
And everybody on your side, and this is the Shelton High kids at this point that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those are your friends, are mainly Shelton High kids?
Yeah.
And you let them know about the fight that had just happened at 5 Lacerbrook Road?
Yeah.
You were upset, right?
Yeah, me and Hines were a little pissed off. We were like, what the hell, that was bull.
A little pissed off?
Yeah, we weren't, fuming, acting out of rage, doing anything stupid, but we were like, that was stupid. Like we were just pissed.
Okay. And you told us that there was a basketball group chat that some of the kids started, correct?
Yeah, I was in it prior. It started because we played pickup basketball, hence the name of the group chat. And we have 2 SJ kids in there that we were friends with. We'd hoop with them. And then after it all had happened, I don't remember who specifically, but they were all added, or at least 4 people. I didn't have any of the numbers, so they were all just random numbers.
When you say they were all added, you mean Mr. Valley, Mr. De Silva?
I found that out after, but in the
correct?
given moment, I didn't know. Yes.
But that's who was added, right?
Yes.
And that's who you started texting about 43 Laurel Glen Drive, correct?
Yes.
Giving them the address, correct?
Yeah.
In fact, taking a photo of the address and texting that, correct?
Yeah.
That wasn't just some of the kids, right? That was you.
Yeah, my phone number is the number that sent it, yes.
You've talked about things as having happened collectively, but when we're talking about the address being sent,
Yeah,
that was you individually, not collectively.
I mean, if you put it into retrospect, yeah, my finger hit the button, I think, but I was a sophomore at a senior's house. I wasn't just gonna have some kids show up that this is my first time hanging out there. I wouldn't just invite them. So I was told by people, I don't exactly remember who, but we had been talking about what just happened. Because they started off with a come to Trumbull High. So we were like, we're not going to Trumbull High. And said what we said.
So you're saying somebody forced you to text?
No, nobody forced me to text anything, no.
And then you described ultimately getting over to 43 Laurel Glen Drive. You told us maybe 30 to 40 kids were there?
Yeah.
Could it have been more?
I don't think so. I'm more of like, it's not touching 50, maybe a number in the 40s possibly, but I don't think so.
And you didn't have anything to drink once you got there, except maybe I think you conceded you could have had 1 beer?
Yeah, I could have been given one. I don't remember drinking, but I'm not going to rule it out.
Was there beer at the party at 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
Not for like the taking, but people had their own supplies.
Was there liquor at the party at 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
I didn't see. He could have had a bottle at his house prior. I'm not sure.
And when you arrived there, you described it as being dark, correct?
Where?
43 Laurel Glen Drive now.
You're referring about outside?
Yes.
It's dim lit. Like it wasn't terribly dark. We were able to see the people in front of us. Flashlights are out too. There's the light in the driveway. It's not like you can't see.
It was misty that night?
I don't recall it being misty.
You don't recall it being misty or rainy?
No.
You don't recall the grass being wet?
I do not.
You don't recall any sort of precipitation whatsoever?
I don't recall, but I don't recall mist specifically.
And you said you were in the house in the basement, correct?
Yeah.
And that it was a typical high school party, typical high school things were going on, right?
Yeah.
What were those typical high school things that were going on at that party?
Listening to music. People having a couple drinks together. Might have had a pong table, I'm not sure, but just people hanging out, listening to music, having a good time, hanging out.
You said might have had a pong table. What's a pong table?
Like a table to play beer pong.
What's beer pong?
So I need
Laura J, what's up? Hey, Laura J. I'm gonna show Laura J. This is Small Seagal's ring right here. It's a skull ring, and that's a beaded black necklace and a beaded white one. It probably says something weird on it.
Those are lava stones. Maybe he puts essential oils in there.
He's got that small seashell necklace on too. It's just under the suit coat.
I'm still blown away by the index finger. That thing looks fucked up, dude.
Yeah, like what's going on there?
I told you he mixes a lot of potions. Sometimes you get your hands in the potion, and that's what happened. You get potion deformity to the index.
I'm just thinking scary
I
movie
mix
too right now.
potions. I mix potions for my my clients. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, do you have any allergies? Do you like essential oils? And most of them say yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mix you a potion. And you can just see their eyes are just like, woo, a potion.
Well, Small Seagal, when Small Seagal mixes a potion, smoke coming out of it.
Oh, put it in his ring, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then he
that's
drops it.
It's a little bit of cocaine in that ring.
He drops it in
little
ladies'
bit.
drinks at the bar.
That's what he eats for lunch. He cracked the head over the skull open and lunch, baby.
Go to the teeth.
Yeah, it's just lunch.
Team has 10 cups and you shoot a ping pong ball into each other's cups, and whoever makes all 10 first wins.
How old was the oldest person that was attending this party?
Could have been 19, 18 or 19.
No adults present?
That's my knowledge. No.
They told us before that maybe some folks had some beers, they brought their own. Now you're telling us that there might have been a beer pong table set up and people might have been playing beer
Yeah,
pong?
by beer pong, I don't specifically mean every single beer, because we've come to learn that it's a lot easier to fill them with water, because then you can just keep playing and play the game.
Okay, so are you telling us that this night there were people playing pong with water?
I'm not telling you specifically, I don't recall, but if 95% of the time that is the situation, because you get your beer all gross.
And you told us that at some point you became aware that these St. Joe's kids had arrived and they were outside, correct? How did you become aware of that?
So initially there was a text that said we're here. Someone ran outside, didn't see them. And then someone else was like, there's a car outside. And that's when we all fled outside.
And you described that car as being parked outside down towards the corner of Adams, correct?
Yeah.
And that car was on the other side of the street, correct?
Yes.
And then you told us that you all collectively headed outside, right?
Yeah.
Was that all 30 or 40?
A few stragglers may have fallen back, but the majority made their way outside.
And who were you standing beside when you headed outside?
I don't recall fully who I walked out with. We kind of just all funneled out, so just walked outside.
Did you head outside with Tanner Chernowski?
Yeah.
Did you head outside with Ryan Hines?
Yeah, he came out.
Did you head outside with Michael Sampieri?
If Samp went outside, I wasn't specifically saying I'm with any of them. Some of them were outside, yes.
Why did you go outside?
Because I went outside. They're in the group chat. They said they're here. Curiosity. Walk outside. Everyone else was going.
You were just curious about what was going to happen after you told them to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Laurel Glen Drive after the fight.
Confront them. Yeah, I'm gonna go outside. But this was more of like me and Hines were like youngins to everyone there. We looked like we were the little kids there, so they were kind of taking control. And it was more like people. They were all known. The defendants and his friends have known some of the people that were at the Rich's house.
Okay. And then when everybody gets outside, you told us about them going up to the Honda Pilot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that at this point they all surrounded the Honda Pilot, right?
Yeah.
And they were touching the Honda Pilot, right?
I'm looking from the front. I don't know if they eventually did when they began rocking it. Yes.
Began rocking the car?
Yeah.
You were shown a picture of the Honda Pilot, correct?
Yes, we were.
You were shown this picture. Is that the Honda Pilot that you recall seeing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, rotate it. That looks like the hunt pilot yourself.
Yeah.
The outside of the windshield. Just a moment, Mr. Marcinzik. I'm trying to get an exhibit. I'm going to show you exhibit number 31, close up of that Honda Pilot. You agree that's the same vehicle?
Yeah.
And when that vehicle arrived and you first saw it, it didn't have that shattered windshield, did it?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I didn't see anyone specifically make that happen, so I don't know if they arrived with it or left with it.
Okay. How did you come out when you got to the car when you went outside?
Where was I parallel to the car?
How did you come out of the house?
Through the umbilical doors out of the basement around the house.
What kind of doors?
Like the umbilical ones, like the basement doors.
Okay. And can you describe umbilical doors for us?
Like the ones that open. Like, I don't know. This is a house that's slanted like this, and they open. There's a staircase that goes into the basement.
Okay. And then you came out and you described for us how you walked down the pathway?
Yes.
And where did you go? If you want to use the exhibit behind you, you went beside the square cement?
That's the second time when they come back. The first time initially, we all come down the driveway.
Are you walking down the
We
driveway?
all walked out. I don't know specifically the driveway. We all walked out to the car.
So you remember that? You remember how you got out of the house?
Yes.
You don't remember whether or not that windshield was shattered beforehand?
I wasn't paying attention to if their car was beat up or not.
You were standing right at the front by the passenger side, right?
Yeah, I wasn't like on the car. I was a few feet back. I was looking through the windshield, but I don't remember if there was a crack there or not.
Which side of the windshield would you say that defect is in?
The passenger side.
The side you were standing closest to?
Yeah.
You didn't notice whether or not it was shattered?
I wasn't looking for shattered glass, and you probably can't really tell it's cracked either when it's nighttime. You know, it's got a light on it with a flashlight taking a picture of it, so it reflects back a little bit. I didn't recognize if there was a crack or not.
I see. You did notice, however, that these kids were all now surrounding the car and that at some point they started to shake the car.
Yes.
They started to throw things at the car.
I don't know if anyone threw anything at that point.
They started to pound on the car.
Yeah, probably just banging on the windows.
Somebody reached in and punched somebody that was inside the car.
I didn't see any of that.
You didn't see that?
I didn't see if anyone got punched on in the car.
You were standing on the passenger side. How far away from the car itself?
Probably 4 to 6 feet back.
Could you have reached out and touched the car?
No.
Did you reach out and touch the car?
Did I touch the car? Not to my recollection, no.
Not to your recollection?
Yeah, I don't recall encountering and going up and touching the car.
Is that the kind of thing you forget?
What do you mean? Like, would I forget touching the car?
Yes.
Probably not.
But you simply don't recall whether or not you touched the car?
I didn't touch the car.
You didn't?
I didn't touch the car.
Now you recall that, but you didn't touch the car?
Yeah.
These other people were all touching the car?
Yeah, they were on the sides of it. I was in the front, so I can't do anything from the front of the car.
I see. You distanced yourself from the car?
Essentially, yeah.
You distanced yourself from the group?
Not from the group. I was still with people.
Same people that had you feel like you had to text the address?
I'm going to object as to argument.
I'll allow everyone.
Sorry, but what was that?
Ooh, small cigar, 1-1 now. You just got the I'll allow it. Dean, are you asleep yet?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Now watch this. I don't know if you ever seen this. Don't ask me why I've seen it.
I'll tell you a little bit about my bike here. Some of it's badass. This is my racing gear, my goggles. Just bought them today. Got shit in my eyes. Fucked me up for a week. This son of a bitch got FMF series exhaust. Goddamn silencer. Training wheels for safety. It's automatic. None of that bullshit with the clutch. That's sissy shit. This son of a bitch, you just get it. Get it. Oh, man, you want to get it. You know, just like get it. You know, see the kickstart. See, there's so much. It's a badass. You try it with your hands. You know, just like that. Get it. Badass little bike.
All right, sorry.
What family reunion did you record that at, Danny?
I did.
What? What?
So what family reunion did you record that at?
Didn't feel like I was made to text anybody the address, but sure.
That's good.
So you went outside. Folks, there was, you described there as being a chain of cars that were there, correct?
Yeah, there was a couple cars parked on the opposite side of the road as well.
There were cars parked on both sides of the road, right?
Yes, but significantly more on the other side.
Significantly more cars were parked
Yeah,
on the other side of
might
the
have
road.
been 1 or 2 cars parked near the mailbox, but there was on the other side. It was lined up with at least like 4 to 6 of them.
Okay. So the chain of cars were there. Were you standing between the pilot and another car?
They weren't too close to the other car because they were able to put it in drive and drive forward while turning left. So they were slacked back a little bit, but essentially, yeah, I was technically between 2 cars. There wasn't a close gap.
And you described that water bottles and the WD-40 can were thrown out of the vehicle?
Yes.
Or were they thrown at the vehicle?
No, the WD-40 can came out, which someone picked it up on the road and threw it back.
Okay. Was anything else thrown back at the vehicle?
There was like a water jug tossed. But once they started driving up and down, like slowly, majority of us would fade into the inside. A couple people trickled, like stayed outside, and that was really it. Like they just kept driving up and down. We thought it had been done by that point.
How many times did they drive up and down?
3-4 times.
Not 2 to 3?
Well, including their first speed down, and they come down and back up again, so it's at least 3.
Could you see how many people were inside the vehicle?
I know there was more. I didn't see specifically how many. There could have just been 4 of them. I don't think it was full.
Now, when you were part of the group that collectively surrounded this car, you wanted them to exit the vehicle, right?
At that point in time, we didn't really have a game plan or an approach. We just went and were going to talk with them, which obviously was a little bit hostile, but we didn't know what was going to happen or what would happen.
You didn't want to get payback for the Lazy Brook Road?
Sure, it was in thoughts, but at that point in time, they're all sitting in a car. You can't do anything, so.
Can't do anything except lay hands on it, start rocking it, throw things at it, smash the windshield.
Yeah, sure. We rocked it and threw things at it because things were thrown. Like I had said before, I don't recall anyone doing anything to the windshield. I'm not saying it wasn't us or it was, but I didn't see any of that.
You collectively attacked the vehicle. Fair to say?
Objection is the characterization.
Oliver Willett can answer it.
I wouldn't say attacked. We had a massive people.
2.
I wouldn't say necessarily attacked.
No, you wouldn't. And you also can't tell us who laid hands on the vehicle.
You hear that, D? Small cigar got another I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. In honor of just being today, and today ends in a Y, I'm going to show y'all one of my other favorite videos.
Oh hey, hold on. 2 cars coming. You got 2 cars coming 2 different ways. Here you go there. Bag up, Terry. Put in reverse, Terry. Put in reverse.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, man.
What Terry?
Look at Terry's
smiling
face.
there.
Oh
He's
my
having a fucking
God.
blast.
I thought his
God.
battery died or something. That was funny.
Bag up, Terry.
Yes, you told us who was there. Enrico Field was present.
Yeah.
Sal Perry was present. Mike Samperry was present. Alex Burnson was present. Tanner was present. Yes?
Yes.
Jacob Villalobos was present. And you knew all these guys very well, correct?
Yeah.
You played sports with all of them, correct? You grew up with all these kids, correct? But you can't tell us who it was that started shaking the vehicle.
It's not that I couldn't tell you who, it's that I didn't specifically look around and remember who was who. I know who all my friends are, obviously, yes, but I don't know where their positions are. I don't know their experiences. I was paying attention to myself and looking at the car. I wasn't watching everyone else's doings.
Isn't it that you don't want to tell us? You don't want to tell us what your friends did that night?
Honestly, I wish I could, but I don't know.
Well, you can. Go ahead, tell us.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know where my friends' position wherever they were, no.
But you knew how you came out of that house.
Yeah, because I walked. Just asked an answer at this point.
I'll sustain the objection.
Oh, 2 for 2.
And you're telling us.
Ooh, good one, Dean. Good one, Dean. In honor of 2 for 2.
Answered is an easy one.
Here we go.
No.
No, he's sleeping.
I love that video.
Down the road 3 to 4 times, you said? Multiple times.
That was hilarious.
And that at some point they drove off down towards Farmhouse Lane, correct? And would you agree that that is about 2 football fields away from where the Rich House is?
Yeah, it's a good distance.
And you claim that you saw only 2 of your friends walk down towards Farmhouse Lane, right?
I just knew 2 specifically. There could have been more. I know that Ricky and Tyler went and encountered him.
Do you know that because they told you that, or because you saw that?
They were the ones that actually had discussed that they were going to go down and talk to them. So once they started going, I came back. I don't know if anyone else trailed after them.
Did you see them go down to Farmhouse Lane?
Yeah, I saw them. I walked inside, but I watched them head towards Lido. Yes.
Those, you think only those 2 people were the ones that walked down there?
No, I just know that those 2 people. I don't know specifically who else.
And you told us you didn't hear anything go on down there?
No, I went back inside.
You went back inside. You remember that?
Yes.
Who else went back inside with you?
Majority of people.
Alex Burnson?
I'm not sure. At that time, I just kind of met Burns. So I wasn't really looking out for him.
Did Enrico Fiolo go back inside with you?
No.
Did Sal Perry go back inside with you?
I'm not sure.
Did Mike Samperry go back inside with you?
I'm not sure.
Did Tanner Chernowski go back inside with you?
I'm not sure.
Did Jacob Villalobos go back inside with you?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of us. You're naming 6 of the 40 kids. I don't know where everyone's exact whereabouts were at every given moment. I apologize.
No apology necessary. When you spoke with officers before, though, you didn't mention anything to them about friends going down to Farmhouse Lane, did you?
Well, I was in a panic and just explained what I had actually did, the big things. It didn't
So
come
you
down
didn't
to
tell them
details.
about that, correct?
I don't remember exactly what I told them. That was 3 years ago.
You told them that everybody went back inside and only one person remained outside to see if the St. Joe's kids were going to come back, right?
No, I didn't specifically say that. I just know that somebody, I don't know how many people, but majority had funneled in and someone had mentioned that they were back.
And that one kid just stayed outside to see if the St. Joe's kids were going to come back, right?
Yeah, someone actually was outside. I don't remember who it was, and they were looking, but it wasn't like.
Well, did one kid stay outside or did 2 kids go down to Farmhouse Lane?
Those are 2 separate events. They went down and spoke to them. And when they were down at the, I don't know anything that happened in that conversation, what they saw, what they said, anything about it, but I watched them walk down the road towards them. And then at separate times, we all funneled back inside. Someone was outside still. I don't know if they were looking for them, but someone was still outside, and then they had mentioned that they had came back.
Who was that?
It was someone just yelled like they're back, and everyone was like, "What?" And all funneled out the back doors.
And in fact, you continued texting throughout this time period, didn't you?
I think the text had died down a lot once they had fully arrived. There was a couple texts sent. Yeah.
There were a couple of texts sent, or you sent texts, Mr. Marcinsic?
Well, multiple people sent texts. I included, yes.
You sent texts.
Yeah,
correct?
I sent texts. They sent texts. Multiple people sent texts.
In fact, you snapped a photograph of Mr. Snyder's car sitting outside and texted that with a caption on it, taunting them, didn't you?
Yeah.
This was after they had shown up and driven away, correct?
No, it's as they just showed up. I took that picture first thing.
Also, you took that picture before you went outside.
No, I took that picture outside when they had arrived.
And you said, sitting ducks, ODE, very scared, right?
Yes.
And then you asked, how's your car, pussy? Full. That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was after you'd gotten out?
It's after they had driven up and down, I believe.
That's after they'd driven up and down the
driven
street.
up.
You're continuing to text them at that point, right?
I believe so.
Are you still feeling pressure to do that from other people?
I never felt any pressure in the first place to be texting them.
Oh, okay. You didn't feel pressure before when you sent the LGD 43 LGD address?
No, there wasn't pressure to do that. It was dudes being dudes talking.
Just dudes talking?
I mean, yeah, we were expecting to fight, not any of this.
You were expecting to fight?
Once we had told them to come, yeah. I don't think we're gonna have them come and like there'd be no point having them come. Yeah.
Did you say 43 Laurel Glen Drive, 30 to 40 dudes here?
I don't exactly recall, but if I did, then yeah.
You didn't mention those texts, however, when you were talking with the police, right?
I don't recall. I don't think so. I don't know that it wasn't asked. Once I was asked about them, I told them about them. Yeah.
Oh, once you were asked about them, you told them that they existed. But before that, you didn't think that was important to share with them?
Not really. It was argumentative. It's a lot of just hearsay nonsense back and forth between the two of us. Yes, I told them where to go, but that doesn't invite anything that happened on that night.
Mr. Marcinsic, you didn't tell the cops about that because you thought it might get you in trouble, didn't you?
I don't know exactly what my thoughts were when I was 16. I could have been scared. I'm not sure.
You didn't think maybe you'd get in trouble for luring somebody over and then getting into a fight?
I mean, you said it yourself. I said the address with how many people. I wouldn't necessarily call that luring. They knew what they were getting themselves into.
Sir, what I said was you texted them the address, but you didn't say 30 to 40 dudes here, did you?
That's what you said.
That's not what I said, sir. Is
Well,
that
I had
what
a
you said?
I need to be looking at the same text you're looking at. I don't remember text I sent 3 years ago.
Let's see.
Oh, Smalls don't like that. Well, clap back from the.
At some point, you described there was a second encounter when the car came back, correct?
Yeah.
And you were inside when the car returned?
Yeah, when I had gotten outside, the car was already parked in the street.
I'm talking about the second encounter when the car comes back, as you described, and the fight occurs out on the lawn. Okay?
Yes, like the fight. Yes, when everyone gets outside, the car's already parked, and the two of them are making their way towards the yard.
How did you know that the car was already outside?
There was a bunch of us there. They had said that the car had returned.
Did you see the car outside?
Did I see it return?
Yes.
Like, did I watch it come to a complete stop and return? No, I did not.
Where were you when the car returned?
I was inside.
You were inside the house?
Yes.
And so you came to learn that the car had returned because somebody...
It was just, we were all together. It was known, yes.
Did you just see people start to funnel outside, or did you hear somebody say, hey, the car's here?
Both.
Both of those things occurred.
Yeah, the car's here, we funneled outside.
And you didn't think, guys, we should stay inside right now. There's really no need to go outside the house if the car's back.
No, obviously not. I should have. That's a more mature way to look at it, yeah. But I was 16 and immature and walked outside to go watch a fight.
Go watch a fight?
Yeah, because at that point, no one was really involved. We were the people arguing with the people arguing now.
So at some point, you get back outside into the yard. You see Tyler DeSilva out there?
Yes.
You see Raul Valley out there?
Yes.
And you see Jack Snyder out there?
Jack Snyder was driving.
Jack Snyder was driving is what you told us here today, but when you spoke with the cops, you said all three of them got out of the vehicle. Did you not?
I don't recall if I said that back then. Like, I might have misconstrued it a little bit. All three of them were there, but Jack remained in the vehicle.
And you did tell the officers that all three of the parties were out of the vehicle with the doors open, correct?
I mean, at one point, all doors were open on the vehicle.
You said everyone exited the house and approached the three parties on the lawn, correct?
Yeah.
Three parties?
Yeah.
Snyder, DeSilva, and Valley, correct?
Yeah, I said that in the moment. I don't know why I said that, honestly, but I didn't assume two dudes would hop out and fight everyone. I thought maybe he was out of the car. I didn't see him somewhere, but then I noticed him in the car once they got in and instantly drove off.
And in fact, when you got out, you saw Tyler Rich and Tyler DeSilva talking, correct?
Yeah, there were words.
Were they fighting at that point?
No.
And to your knowledge, did Mr. De Silva and Mr. Rich know each other?
I can't speak. I want to say they did, but I'm not sure.
And you said that they began exchanging words, correct?
Yeah.
And at this point, how many people from the party, the Shelton kids, were out there in the lawn?
Majority of us.
30 to 40?
Probably 30. Not all kids were outside, and I know kids that stayed inside.
Who were you standing beside?
What was that? Sorry.
Who were you standing beside?
I was kind of near the vicinity of Tanner. I wasn't really like up with everyone, like or with anybody specifically. Like I was just kind of observing.
What was Tanner doing?
At the time, Tanner was observing, and then he pulled out his phone and eventually recorded.
Tanner was filming this?
Eventually, once the fight broke out, yeah, he took a video.
Was he the only person filming?
I'm not sure, but at least to my knowledge, yes.
You were standing over by where Mr. De Silva was on the ground being attacked, correct?
Yeah, well, him and Rich were wrestling on the ground, yes.
It wasn't just Mr. De Silva and Mr. Rich that were going at it by themselves, was it?
Honestly, they were like, them two were the main ones. They were on the ground with each other. It's not like no one else was with Tyler on the ground, or Tyler Rich I'm referring to. Like no one else was helping him on the ground. But it was mainly just them two kind of going back and forth on the ground.
Just the two of them. Everybody was standing back to the side, letting them go at it.
I'm not going to speak for people, but or specifics. Like I'm sure he caught a shot or two from somebody else, but like it was mainly like I remember seeing him on the ground. Rich had his shirt pulled up. Silva's whole back was out. I remember seeing it. Like Rich was on the ground. Silva was on top of him, but Rich kind of had him in like a chokehold kind of thing, but like not really. Like, just like holding him down so we couldn't like get on top of him.
And you had such a good view of that because somebody was using their phone to live stream that, and the flashlight was on, wasn't it?
There was flashlights on, yeah.
And somebody was live streaming that whole thing, weren't they?
Live streaming?
Yes, sir.
I don't think anybody was live streaming this.
You don't think anybody was live streaming this?
I have no knowledge of anyone live streaming this.
You think somebody just pulled out their phone and turned on the flashlight and was holding it up to show the fight going on?
Are you confusing a video for a live stream? Because a live stream is lively streamed, and a video is not live streamed. It's do you understand what I'm saying?
I appreciate the distinction, sir. I'm not.
You know what he's saying?
So you are asking about a live stream? No, I don't, to my knowledge, no one.
Listen, kid. He's got 12 women live streaming through that skull ring right now.
It's a spy skull ring.
Yeah.
Wait, Janine, is your daughter
With
okay?
With a potion. Yes, Lauline, thank you. I appreciate it. She was just on her work break, checking in. But yeah, but when I get a call, do you guys go through that? When I'm on stream and I get a call, I'm knocked out. Like I can hear
you were saying your daughter had been knocked out.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Oh my God!
That's
I'm
why
so
everybody's
sorry.
in the chat.
No, her
like,
daughter
asking if
called
she's
and she
okay.
got booted out of StreamYard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Oh, thank you. No, she's fine. Thank God. I'm crossing myself.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Recorded a live stream? No.
Not to your knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I've never heard once of a live stream.
But you would agree that somebody had their phone out, it was open, and at least it had the flashlight on, correct?
Yeah.
And that was shining on Mr. De Silva and the fight that was going on there, correct?
Yes.
You saw that?
Yes.
You were close to that?
Yeah.
You said the scene was chaotic, correct?
Yeah.
You've told us today that there were only 2 people that were in the yard that were fighting from the St. Joe's kids, correct?
Yes.
You told the officers there were 3, that it included Mr. Snyder, correct?
There were 3 involved. I could have said it like that. He wasn't literally involved in the fight, but he was their driver.
And you said Mr. Rich and Mr. De Silva began exchanging words, and they soon became involved in a physical altercation, correct?
Yes, they eventually were involved in an altercation, yes.
Again, how did they become involved in a physical altercation?
Well, once it looked like to us that Lito was going to swing on our friend Ty, Rich had just thrown a punch onto him and then stopped worrying about him, and him and De Silva started fighting.
I see. You said we thought that Lito was going to
Like that was
throw a
like
punch.
everyone kind of saw it. Like at least what.
So you don't know what everyone saw, do you?
I don't. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know. We all saw it, but I saw him make a little move towards Ty, and Rich punched him, and then he turned towards De Silva because whoever was over there was just dealing with that.
You saw Mr. Valley.
Yeah, that's what started the fight, and then
make
once
a movement of some sort.
Yeah, like they were squared
Describe
up to
that
each
movement.
other, just like he was like he didn't make a big enough movement, but he twitched like in the wrong way that looked like it could have been aggressive, and obviously Rich going to defend his boy.
So the first punch was thrown by a Shelton High kid. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that punch hit Mr. Valley, didn't it?
Yes.
And thereafter, it did become chaotic, didn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, everybody swarmed, the 30 or 40 of you, the 2 people that were there in that yard, correct?
No, there was a lot of people also watching. It wasn't like, obviously we're not gonna, like, you saw pictures of them afterwards. They didn't get stomped on by multiple tens of people. Like it was like, there was a couple kids, yeah, on each of them, but like once the fight broke out, I didn't see Lito anymore because it kind of the crowd, and it went down. The crowd blocked it all, and I was just looking at De Silva fighting Rich.
The crowd blocked it off because they were swarming. There were at least 8 to 10 people attacking both of them, correct?
I can't say. I didn't see 8 to 10 people on De Silva, but I can't speak for Lito.
Did you see Mr. Villalobos involved in the fight?
Towards the end, he actually put De Silva to his feet and shoved him towards the road with the help of a few of his other buddies.
Did you see that, or did you watch a video?
No, that happened because when I was watching De Silva fight, he got lifted up and pushed out.
You saw that yourself?
Yeah, I was watching. Like I said, I was able to see the De Silva interaction.
Okay. Did you see Charles Connery involved in the fight?
I did not see him involved. No.
Did you see Ryan Hines involved in the fight?
He was. I know he was on the left side, but he was in Lito's area. They were all kind of together, so I didn't see him specifically do anything.
Didn't see Sal Perry involved in the fight?
I'm not sure.
You didn't see Michael Sampieri involved in the fight?
I did not see Michael at the time. No.
Didn't see Alex Bernson involved in the fight?
I saw Alex Bernstein.
Oh, what did you see Alex Bernson do?
He would when he threw a couple punches at De Silva, but like nothing crazy. Like he threw some extra ones, but while Rich was wrestling him, he gave him a few.
Was he wearing a shirt?
I think he had it off.
It's hard to tell because there were a couple of folks that took off their shirts for this, right?
I'm not sure. Burns a big dude, so he stood out. I'm pretty sure he had his shirt off.
Did you see Mr. McGrath involved in the fight?
I did not. He was on the other side.
Did you see Tyler Rich involved in the fight?
Yes.
Did you see Faison Teal involved in the fight?
I did not. He was on the other side as well.
Did you see Michael Lockovich involved in the fight?
I don't recall if he was involved, but he was in my general area of like De Silva.
Did you see Tommy Connery involved in the fight?
He was also on the farther side, so I'm not sure if he was in there or not.
In fact, it was hard to see what was going on the other side because that side had encircled and descended upon Mr. Valley, correct?
He said he didn't see.
Sustained.
Did you say that you didn't see or that it was hard to see?
I didn't see. Once the people came in front of me, I said it. I didn't see at first and followed it up by saying it was hard to see, but I meant for both. I couldn't see. People were swarming. Yes, I didn't see, but I didn't specifically see anyone go to the ground on him. Multiple people, so I can't speak on that.
People swarmed him, correct?
Objection. Just testified he couldn't see.
So, overruled. You can answer that if you know.
Ooh, 3-2.
Obviously, people yes huddled around, but I didn't think I saw more people standing than doing anything.
Did you remain in that same position throughout the course of this fight, where you described by the red bush and the cement square? You did not yourself throw any punches?
No.
And you described Tanner Chernowski, your cousin, as you've described him, the closeness, filming this, correct?
Yes.
He took his phone out and didn't call 911, but started filming what was going on.
Yeah.
And he was
Cheryl. Everybody say hey to Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Boots on the ground, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Make sure y'all go like Cheryl's page too.
Cheryl is a
And
page.
put
walking
some
back and forth.
videos up and stuff. So
Cool.
I'm sure she's got a bunch of them too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Drop that link in the chat.
Correct?
No, I believe he's stationary. Maybe moves a couple feet left and right, but not really moving around. The video, you can really only see De Silva. Like I said, his side's over there.
But you described yourself seeing Mr. Valley go to the car.
Yeah, because the car was, like I said, it's more in that where the area it is. They're fighting back more up. So when he runs out of his area, he's now kind of behind. Like from my view, he runs behind where De Silva is, and you see the car door open. I watch him open the car door, and then the light turns on. We all kind of, a couple of us put our attention over there, which Tanner also noticed, and then he runs back.
And you saw that?
Yeah, once he runs back, I lost him again because he ran out of my view.
And you described
You back, Mary B?
Yeah, my computer is being fucking stupid, but I think it's good
okay.
now.
Say hey to your buddy Cheryl. Boots on the ground, buddy.
What up, Cheryl? I hear she's got a page.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No,
Oh my god.
can't wait to check it out.
Yep.
Well, I had it on the other page. So I gotta go find it again, but I'll try to find it real quick.
Mr. Chernowski taking a video of this, correct?
Yes.
You've watched that video, have you not?
Yeah, I've been shown it.
When was the first time you saw that video?
I'm not sure, honestly. I think the first time I saw it was when I was shown it.
Who showed it to you?
By the detectives, because Tanner didn't send that video anywhere, and he told everyone he deleted it the night of, but he kept it and gave it to the cops.
He didn't show it to you?
No, that night I wasn't worried about watching a video.
Cops showed that to you. That's your testimony?
I believe so. I don't have any prior knowledge of the video.
And you told us that you didn't see anyone get stabbed with a knife, correct?
I didn't directly watch a knife enter somebody, no.
In fact, you didn't see a knife at any point. Is that
No.
fair to say?
Yes.
You were watching both of these fights going on.
Lord J, we don't know what they claim because there were no opening statements. They decided, hey, no need. So they opted out of opening statements. So we didn't get a good rundown. So we're just on testimony. And this is the first kid to testify.
But your attention was divided, fair to say?
Yeah, and once it became divided, it mainly focused just onto De Silva's fight.
And you'd had at least 2 or 3 beers?
Yeah, in the span of those 4 hours.
And you were 16 at the time?
Yes, I was.
And you told the officers that Snyder, De Silva, and Valley
Opening statements are optional in Connecticut. So they opted out.
back into the Pilot and drove off towards Adams.
Yeah, they were all into the car and they drove off.
And you told us you'd been friends with Mr. McGrath, correct?
Yeah.
And that you'd known him since you were very young, correct?
Correct.
And would you describe him as a cousin the same way you described Mr. Chernowski?
No, because once we went to high school, obviously he went to prep, we grew apart a little bit, but it was still always love when we saw each other.
You would describe him as somebody who was the toughest kid you know, right?
Yeah, on the field, he was an animal.
And that he wouldn't back down from anyone, right?
No.
And that if he saw his friends getting into a fight, he would join that fight, right?
Objection. False or speculation.
Doesn't, and not if that's what he said. I'll overrule the question continues to be, you've said. Is that correct, Attorney Smith?
I beg your pardon, I'm sorry.
Does the question continue to be that you've said these things?
That he would describe him as that.
Describe him as,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I'll allow it overruled.
I'm sorry, repeat.
You would describe him as somebody who, if he saw his friends being in a fight, he would go out and join it, correct?
Depending on the situation. If he saw his boys winning, probably not.
If he saw his boys winning, probably not.
Yeah, he wouldn't just jump into a fight to fight.
But if he saw someone punching his boys, he'd probably hop in.
Objection is to probably.
Sustained.
Ooh, 3-3.
Mr. Marcinzik, at some point you also engaged in doing an identification of folks that were there with the officers, correct?
Yes.
And you identified Mr. Valley as having been there.
I'm sorry, what was the end of that?
You identified Mr. Valley as having been there.
Yes.
You also identified another person as having been involved, correct?
Tyler De Silva?
Anybody else?
Not sure.
What are you getting at, Smalls?
When you were telling State's Attorney Durso about watching this fight go on in the yard, you described De Silva as being in a wrestling match, right?
Yeah, like they were on the ground, like together, Rich and De Silva, so I would call that grappling with each other.
Just Rich and De Silva involved in a wrestling match by themselves.
Well, they were the main two on the ground. Like, yeah, you obviously caught a couple strays. There's plenty of people, but I don't know from who.
What do you mean by caught a couple strays?
Like, they're on the ground, someone's gonna just throw a sneaky punch or throw a sneaky kick, like just exactly like what they did to Hines at Lazy Brook.
Well, and you described Mr. Lokovich as being in the area, correct?
Yeah.
Villalobos was in the area, correct? Yeah. Burnson was in the area, correct? Correct?
Yes.
Sorry, you have to, for the record. But they weren't just in the area, were they?
I mean, I know Byrne was throwing some punches, yes, but I don't recall exactly if Locke and Villa were fully in there like that.
Would you agree that you are very clear on the facts about how you came in and out of the house and where you stood?
Yeah.
Would you agree that you are less clear about who threw punches and who was involved?
I would, yes, with the fight aspect.
Would you agree that all of the Shelton High kids were friends of yours?
I mean, yeah, they've all known each other.
You don't want to see any of them get in trouble, do you?
No, but they necessarily couldn't really get in any trouble at this point in time, so I wouldn't be doing them a favor.
Okay. You continued to text even after the fight had ended, correct?
I believe I had sent some texts once because my phone was being nonstop lit up with calls, and I pulled out my phone to look at them, and I noticed a text from them first. So I responded. I think I remember what they were as well.
Oh, what were they?
The final text was I received a text that said, "Let me know how surgery goes," and I responded out of childness. I was like, "Bro, look at your face. You'll probably never get a girl." Not really knowing the severity, just throwing something, but that's why I responded because I read that text.
You responded to Mr. Snyder, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder said something about surgery, correct?
Yes.
And you responded something about look at your face?
Yeah. I didn't know whose number that was, so I just gave it was a random number to me, so assumed it was maybe one of the people fighting since he's sitting, like, I don't know. I didn't know who it was at the time.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
You told us when the swarm occurred on Mr. Valley, you couldn't see Mr. Valley anymore at that point, correct?
I couldn't really point anyone out in specific.
You didn't see him again until you saw him in the car, correct? And then when he came back onto the lawn again, you lost sight of him again at that point, correct?
I had lost sight of him, and the only thing that I had heard was Charlie Connery scream twice that he had a knife.
You lost sight of him because that group swarmed him again, correct?
No, he came back into it. He had all will to leave and brought himself back into it.
That's your opinion, sir?
I don't No, I watched him willing. Like no one pulled him back in from that car. He ran to the car and came straight back in.
And you couldn't see him because all of your Shelton High friends were blocking your view, correct?
Yeah, I wasn't the tallest 3 years ago, so
I feel your pain. You could be unable to see them because they were taller and they were also forming a circle, were they not?
Short jokes have entered.
honestly, a circle probably would have made it easier for me to see him if they fully surrounded him. Because the majority of the people, it was like a wall. I couldn't see him.
Could you see Mr. McGrath at that point?
No, I wasn't. I didn't. Maybe I saw him. I didn't notice it was Jimmy at the time. No.
Could you see Michael Samperry?
So what was that, Michael?
Could you see Michael Samperry?
I don't know exactly where Michael was. No.
Could you see Michael Lockovich?
He was around me. Yeah.
Could you see Jacob Villalobos?
Yeah. He pushed Tyler into the road. I think Lockman helped with that too.
Could you see them at the time that you could no longer see Mr. Valley?
Like once they split, was I able to see Lock and Lobos? Yeah, I wasn't focused on them. Like I never really took screenshots in my mind of all the people that were around and everything. I know who was there, but I don't know the specifics of who was where, when, where, and how.
This was a chaotic scene, right?
Yeah.
You heard a lot of people screaming, right?
Yes.
In fact, before you heard Charlie Connery screaming about a knife, you heard other people screaming other things, right?
Not necessarily, because Charlie yelling he has a knife was significantly louder, and like everyone heard Charlie yell that.
You didn't hear anything being said when Tyler DeSilva was being attacked?
No. At least I don't recall. Like it was scuffling and shit talk. I don't remember exactly everything that was said.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right. I'm assuming there's going to be some redirect. Is that correct? All right. This is a good time to take our morning recess. So we are going to break for 15 minutes for the morning recess. We'll pick.
Like leave, like just like a part of arguments. Like you're sitting in your car, get the hell out of here. Just things like that.
And when they returned on the front lawn, your expectation, you were going to what? See what on the front lawn potentially?
A fight.
And in your mind, a fight. Did a fight include the use of weapons?
No.
Did any of your friends have weapons?
No.
Now, counsel indicated on cross-examination that you had told the police that there were 3 people that got out of the car that night. Can you explain what you meant by that?
I don't directly recall the exact question I was asked for that response. I just know that there was 3 people involved, so maybe they took me involving the 3 as like all 3 were literally involved and were in the fight.
But as you sit here today, do you know whether or not Jack Snyder was involved in the fight?
He was not involved in the fight.
Do you know whether or not Tyler DeSilva was involved in the fight?
He was involved in the fight.
Do you know whether or not the defendant was involved?
He was involved in the fight.
And do you know whether or not Tyler DeSilva and the defendant were the only 2 individuals on that front lawn from that car?
Yes.
So they came back?
Yes.
And based on the nature of what was said during the interaction between Tyler Rich and Tyler DeSilva and the defendant and Ty Wood and Ryan Hines, was the tone of that conversation, not what they said, but was the tone peaceful?
No.
Now, you were asked about what you recall witnessing after the fight starts, and you indicated that you saw Tyler DeSilva on top of Tyler Rich.
Yeah, at a point in time in the fight, and his head's kind of down to the side near Rich's head, and his back is exposed. His shirt is kind of.
So he's on the ground.
Yeah, Rich is on the ground. He's like DeSilva's on top of him, but like kind of Rich is kind of holding him down, like kind of curling him in a ball, I guess, on top of him.
Okay, and so if I'm Tyler DeSilva, how is he on the ground?
Like knees are on the ground, and then Rich was holding his upper body.
He's on the ground. So he's on the ground like this. And he's in a headlock.
Yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, what you witnessed during that fight was
he just laid down on the ground because nobody knows exactly what laying on the ground looks like.
Maybe you could demonstrate for us because I didn't see him do it, Danny. Could you turn your camera on?
No.
Just
no.
Sort of face down, ass up.
Like down drop.
Tyler Rich was on.
Shut up, Dean. Dean's trying to go there.
He's back.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know counsel asked you a little bit about what else you recall about that specific part of the fight. Do you recall seeing Alex Bernstein there? And what do you recall about his involvement in that part of the fight?
He was a bystander at first, but we kind of all really met him that night. He was a friend of Tanner's that came along because I guess he had heard about it all. But yeah, he got involved, but not for terribly long. He got in, threw a couple punches, and then it kind of stopped. It was
when you say he threw a couple punches, were they hard punches?
I couldn't judge. They were body shots. I know that.
Okay. And when you say body shots, do you recall where they landed?
Probably around like this area
on his back?
On either side, yeah.
Okay. And do you recall if Michael Samperry was in the area?
I don't recall if Michael was in the area.
Do you recall if Sal Perry was in the area?
I don't remember seeing Sal.
Do you recall Enrico Fiola in the area?
He was in the area.
Was he involved in the fight?
I didn't personally witness him do anything.
Do you recall whether or not Jacob Villalobos was involved in the fight?
When I noticed Jake was there, he was when he would finally pried him apart and pushed De Silva out to the road. That's when I first really realized it was Jake Villa.
So Jake Villalobos came over and pushed De Silva out into the road?
Yeah, he pushed him out, and I think collective was just like, get out of here. Done. It was a short thing. The fight between both of them at the same time was probably a minute long at most.
And when that happened, at what point did you see the defendant come back into the fight?
As he's sort of like, as Tyler gets like shoved and he's stumbling out, he runs back in. And it's kind of like as Lito's re-entering, De Silva's like standing there and he's like adjusting his pants and like just adjusting his clothing that he has on.
So at that moment, when the defendant comes back into the fight,
De Silva's no longer involved.
So he's out where, in the street?
Yeah, he's standing in the road at the time.
Now, the defense counsel asked you about Jimmy McGrath. You grew up with Jimmy?
Yeah.
How well did you know him?
I know him pretty well until we split to high school, but I still would see him. I saw him pretty often. We'd see each other every couple months.
And did you play sports with him?
I did. I played lacrosse with him when we were younger.
And May 14th of 2022, was this during lacrosse season?
It could have been for prep. Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay. And do you know whether or not Jimmy was actually playing
Yes, he
lacrosse
was.
at the time?
He was.
And I think the description that you gave on cross-examination is Jimmy wouldn't just hop into the fight.
There'd have to be a reason. Like, those characteristics are true about him, yes, but that's because he's a great friend. He was a great kid. And he wouldn't just jump into a fight because it's free pickings, if that makes sense. Like if he could just get a couple punches and no.
So in other words, what you're saying is if someone was in a fight and it looked like it was a fair fight, he wouldn't just jump in and throw a few punches. Yes, Your Honor, leading.
Sustained.
So with regards to Jimmy,
4-3.
was he a violent individual? No. How would you describe Jimmy's demeanor?
He was a funny kid, always looking to make a joke to cheer people up. He was had an amazing character. Like he's one of one. I don't know many people who were like Jimmy. Yeah, he knew how to fight, but he wasn't like he was looking for a fight.
And based on your recollection of what happened that night, do you recall seeing Jimmy involved with Tyler De Silva?
No.
Do you recall seeing Jimmy involved with the defendant in a fight?
No, I didn't see Jimmy really at all outside. He was just in the crowd.
Was he involved? When you say he was in the crowd, where was he?
He was on the farther side where Lito would have been.
Thank you. No further questions.
Carson?
So you've just told us that Mr. McGrath wouldn't join in the fight just to get in some. Could you tell us what it was that he wouldn't do?
Just to get some free punches. Like there's a reason he's going to fight, and it's kind of always when he fights. If there's a reason for him to fight.
So he wouldn't join in with the group and swarm and start kicking somebody that was down on the ground.
Not well. If you're claiming he was swarmed by witnessing that, no.
He wouldn't join if there was a swarm. He wouldn't join that swarm and start getting in some kicks.
From the way I know Jimmy, no.
You told us that you didn't see Mr. McGrath with the defendant at all, correct? But you saw that Mr. McGrath was over on the edge, you said?
I knew his general area. I never exactly witnessed him doing anything with the defendant or in his involvement in the fight.
You thought you knew where his general area was, but you couldn't actually see him. That's correct, right?
No, I knew he was over to the left and he had walked in, but once things broke out, I lost track of people and I wasn't really worrying about where everybody was.
So you couldn't see where Mr. McGrath was?
Once the fight broke out, no, I wasn't.
The fight broke out. And you couldn't see where Mr. Valley was when he stepped back onto the yard, could you?
No, once he came back in, he was out of my view.
But your claim is that you couldn't see Mr. McGrath, you couldn't see Mr. Valley, but you could see Mr. De Silva out in the yard, out in the road, hiking up his pants.
Yeah, because they were in separate locations.
They were in separate locations?
Yeah,
when
they were in the
Mr.
same
De
physical
Silva
location.
and Mr.
The angles I had on them, yes. I was able to see one and not the other.
Now you told us, though, that you watched a video of all this, right? That Mr. Ternowski
I was showed a video, yes.
And that video was shot from a different perspective than where you were standing, correct?
Pretty similar.
No shit.
Were you standing beside Tanner Ternowski?
Not directly, but I was near him, yeah.
Was he standing over by the cement square and the red bush?
Yeah, he was closer to the fight. He was closer to like front row.
How far away were you from Mr. Ternowski?
Tanner's probably at this picture to that right, which would be in front of the tree. And I'm, like I said, near the concrete in the bush. So a couple feet. It's not terrible.
And you saw that video after you gave your original statement, correct?
Yeah.
How many times do you think you've watched that video?
I think I've been shown it maybe 3 or 4 times.
You've been shown it 3 or 4 times by somebody from the state's attorney's office or the police?
Maybe 2 or 3 times. I remember a while back and I was updated. And that's about it.
You've never watched it on your own?
I never had it, no.
So you've only watched it when you've been shown it by somebody from the police department or the state's attorney's office?
Yes, I believe so.
When's the last time you watched that video?
Our prior meeting, which I think was like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half.
Week and a half ago or so, you saw that video?
Yeah.
Today, you would agree you've testified slightly differently than what you told the officers when you first spoke to them about what you witnessed?
Yeah, maybe they wrote down some things they took a little bit differently.
Sir, do you think that your recollection has in any way been affected by your viewing of that video?
No, because I was actually asked to describe what had happened before I was shown the video. When I was shown the video, so they were pretty similar. They lined up.
That's your testimony then that you were able to see Mr. De Silva out in the road, but you could not see Mr. McGrath or Mr. Valley.
Yeah, once he came back in, or Lito came back into involvement, I lost view of him.
And you told us that Mr. Burnson showed up that night, and it was the first time that many of you had met him.
I can't speak for all. I met him. Like, he was a new name to be brought around.
Okay, and he showed up because he had heard about it all.
He was there like before they were. They, as in the St. Joe's kids, but like Tanner obviously knew. So I think them two together, and Byrne just wanted to come hang out.
So he'd been recruited to come there.
Not necessarily recruited. It's not like we needed any assistance like that or anything like that.
You already had 30 or 40 people there.
Yeah.
You told us you didn't go to Trumbull High, right?
No.
Why not?
So I was in Shetland and I wasn't driving to a public high school to potentially fight somebody.
You want to do that on your home turf?
Not even home turf. It's just stupid to fight at a high school. It's surrounded in cameras, and it's also, yeah, like, I think some of them are from Trumbull. I don't know, but that's like, we're not going out of our way to go to Trumbull High School.
So you didn't want to go to Trumbull High School because there were cameras there?
Yeah, like that's just reasons. Like, it'd be stupid to go have a fight at a public location.
Not because you didn't want to have a fight, right?
Yeah, and more so, we didn't want to go to them. We had no real desire.
You had 30 or 40 people there. Why not bring them there, right?
No, wouldn't bring them there.
No.
All right, so you
Small. Oh my God. Did she see if he wanted a redirect? Good Lord, Smalls.
I just
That was like a direct and a kind of a direct, but a cross, and then a redirect, then a kind of a re-cross, but was a direct. Like,
I just really enjoyed why not bring him there?
yeah, why not
No.
load your 40 people up and take them over
Who've
there?
all been drinking, underage kids drinking. Let's all get in cars and drive to a school and fight. That's smart.
Nah.
Exactly what. This is a good one.
How would you know?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't have a clue. I definitely haven't watched it. I'll tell you that.
Hi there, just remain standing, please. Thank you. No.
Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God, or upon penalty of perjury? Yeah. Thank you. You say your full name, spelling your last name.
Isabella Rose Molnar.
Isabella, good afternoon.
Thank you, too.
Can you just keep your voice up because you're very soft-spoken? Okay. Isabella, how old are you today?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay. And do you go to school?
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Lehigh University in Pennsylvania.
And what are you currently studying?
Marketing. Like
And,
business.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I said business. Like,
Okay. And are you working for the summer?
I have a summer internship
And where do you work?
in Ridgefield.
And do you know why you're here today?
Yes.
And prior to today, have you and I met regarding this case?
Yes.
And are you nervous to be here today?
A little bit.
Okay. So I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022.
Mhm.
How old were you back then?
Sorry, say the year again.
May 14th of 2022.
2022. I was 3 years ago, so 17.
And were you in school?
Minus
St. Joe's.
3.
And what year in school were you at St. Joe's?
I was a junior in high school.
College
And,
education at its best.
Are you familiar with an individual by the name of Jack Snyder?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Jack Snyder?
We were classmates.
At St. Joe's?
Yeah.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Tyler DeSilva?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Tyler DeSilva?
Same thing. We were classmates.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Raul Valley?
Yeah.
And how are you familiar with Raul Valley?
Classmates as well.
And does Raul have a nickname?
Lido.
Lido?
Mhm.
And is Raul present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you please describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing a black jacket and a tie.
And can you please point him out for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Oh, yeah.
May the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case.
All right, court will allow the records to so reflect.
Now, I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022. Were you invited to a party on 5 Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
And what was the circumstances surrounding your going to 5 Lazy Brook Road?
I was invited. My lacrosse team was going there, and Maddie Lightford invited us, and we all hung out there. And that was the
Initially, how many people were there?
Initially, I maybe like 15. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
And this was a St. Joe's High School lacrosse party?
Yeah, she just had her lacrosse team over and some of her friends.
And at some point in time, did other people show up to the party?
Yes.
Who showed up to the party?
Other people that went to our school, other friends of Maddie, and yeah, other kids just started showing up. I don't know exactly who was. Yeah.
At some point in time, did the defendant show up to the party?
Yes.
Did Jack Snyder show up to the party?
Yes.
Did Tyler DeSilva show up to the party?
Yes.
Were they invited to the party?
Objection, Your Honor.
Hold on, just don't answer that basis.
It's going to call for hearsay, opinion, and facts not in evidence.
If she knows.
All right, well, why don't we preface it with laying the right foundation then? So I will go ahead and sustain the objection.
Do you recall who was invited to the party?
3.
Initially?
Initially.
Your Honor, calls for the same thing.
It does. I'll sustain the objection. Counsel, you may rephrase your question.
So with regards to this party,
Mhm.
what was your understanding about who was attending the party?
I know my lacrosse team was invited, and I know that she maybe had invited some other kids from our school. But
And when you say other kids,
I did not think Small Cigar would be up 6-3 on him right now, Dean, this early. You know what I mean?
I think overall, Small Seagal might be winning the battle, but you know, you don't know who's
Yeah, but
gonna
it's
win the
the
war.
prosecution's case in chief, so he's the main one doing the objecting, except in crosses.
Oh, we're just keeping score. I'm just telling you he's winning. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying
Six,
the odds change when case in
6-3.
chief changes.
Six
No
to
need
three.
to get technical.
Yeah. In multiples of ponytails. He's winning in multiples of ponytails. But this guy right here wishes he had double ponytail though.
kids, other kids being like who? What kind of kids were invited?
Friends of
She knows.
I'll
Maddie
allow
Leifer
that
from
way
the school.
overruled. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
I think he's
I know that
glad
you don't
with
know
the
this. Yes,
extra
there's an objection pending.
foot
I'm
of
just going to ask you
side
to wait until I make a
clear.
ruling until you continue speaking, okay? But you're okay. I know you've not done this before as far as I know.
Yeah.
So just let me ask you to do that for me, okay? Thank you so much. All right, you may continue.
So again, do you recall who initially was at the party?
Yeah, my lacrosse team was, and some of her friends from St. Joe's were there. That's all I recall.
Was it the girls lacrosse team?
Girls lacrosse, yeah.
Were there any males at the party?
Friends of hers, yeah.
And at some point, how many people would you say were at the party initially?
Initially, maybe like 15 or 20, but I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
And you recall whether or not at some point in time the party got bigger?
I recall it getting bigger. I don't know how soon it was, but it did get bigger.
And what time would you say you got to the Lifers house?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
And when you got there, what kind of things were going on at the party?
We were all just gathered, all saying hi, talking. There was drinking.
There was?
Yeah.
Now, when you say there was drinking, what kind of drinking was going on?
I just know people were drinking like casually, nothing too crazy.
Do you know whether or not people brought their own stuff, or was it being provided by?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And at some point in time, did people who were not initially invited to the party show up?
Yes.
Your Honor. I'm going to call for hearsay. I'm going to call for opinion.
I'm not asking when somebody else
All right.
says that.
Hold on. I am going to sustain the objection, counsel. The evidence is not in that she knows who was invited to the party. So I'll sustain the objection.
Well, she testified, Your Honor, that the lacrosse team was invited to the party and some other friends.
But she again, I'm sustaining the objection.
Do you recall whether or not the other friends that were invited to the party included the defendant?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The other friends that were invited to the party, did that include the defendant?
Not that I'm aware of.
And did that include Jack Snyder?
Not that I'm aware
And
of.
did that include Tyler DeSilva?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, at some point in time, did the defendant show up to the party?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you recall what time that was?
I'm not sure.
When he got to the party, do you recall who he was with?
I'm pretty sure he came with Jack and Tyler.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 53. Do you recognize State 53?
Yeah.
And what is State 53?
Like, who are they?
Yeah.
Lito's on the right and Jack's on the left.
And do you know where this picture was taken?
In her basement?
In the basement of the Lifers house?
Yes.
Now, do you recall the defendant wearing a helmet that night?
Yes.
And the neck pillow as well?
Yeah.
At what point did the defendant come to the party like that?
Not that I recall, but I don't remember.
At some point in time, withdrawn. How long were you at the party before the defendant and his friend showed up?
It's hard to remember, if I'm being honest. Maybe an hour, but I'm also not sure.
And at some point in time, did the party get too big?
Yeah.
And do you have any knowledge as to whether or not people were asked to leave?
Yes, people were asked to leave.
Do you know in particular who was asked to leave?
I think she just wanted everyone out.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you recall whether or not two individuals that were not associated with St. Joe's High School showed up?
I remember I heard about it. And yeah, I recall people showed up at the party.
And when they showed up to the party, was there any type of altercation that you witnessed at the party?
Yes.
And what did you witness at the party?
There was a fight that broke out outside.
And do you know who was involved in that fight?
I know that Jack, Tyler, and Lito were involved in it, and kids outside of St. Joe's. I don't know who those kids are, but
And what do you remember seeing about that fight?
it was outside and they were just fighting.
And when you saw that fight, did you do anything just prior to witnessing that fight?
I started videoing the fight.
Of course, witness, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 58 for identification. Do you recognize 58?
Yes.
And what is State's 58?
The video that I took.
And is this video that you took from the night of May 14th of 2022 at Lazy Brook?
Yes.
And have you viewed this video prior to today's testimony?
Yes.
And does this USB drive contain the original video that you took from that fight?
Yes.
And does it also contain a video that has been lightened up of the same video?
Yes.
Has that been changed in any way other than it being lightened up?
No.
And does it also contain a slow motion version of the same video that's also lightened up?
Yes.
And aside from it being slow motion and lightened up, is it changed in any way from the original video?
No.
You're on the state office of full exhibit.
Attorney Smith?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will go ahead and accept the exhibit into evidence as a full exhibit.
Just publish the jury notes.
Sorry.
Is it sped up right now, Danny?
What?
Is it sped up right now?
Yep.
I'll slow it down for the video.
For the what?
Just slow it down for the video if we're gonna get to see it, please.
I don't know that we would. If we are gonna watch
They
it,
just went on the screen.
okay, we need a disclaimer then, because
Slow it down, Danny.
no, I'm just saying the actual video. If you go try to watch it on
This
YouTube,
is the first fight. This is the fight at the first house without any weapons.
yeah, but even though it's the
Yeah,
first
it's
fight,
so
it's
violent.
it's a fight. That's what I'm telling you.
No, I'm not gonna sue you.
Now that first video, was that the original video you took of the fight that occurred at Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
Was that the lightened up version, the same video?
Yes.
Am I missing the helmet hit?
I
I
think
thought the
that's
helmet
next
hit was
fight.
the second fight.
You see the slow-mo version. The slow motion version has frames on the bottom. Okay? We're at frame 90 on State's Exhibit 58, the slow motion version. I'm going to ask you. Can you tell me? Do you know who this individual is right here to the left?
Tyler?
Tyler De Silva.
Yes.
Do you know who this individual is here in the center with the dark
you
pants
able-
and the helmet?
Are you able to see the pointing?
Can't see the pointing, Your Honor, but I can see the video and I'm fairly clear who it is. He's pointing.
Yes,
Who
that's
is that?
Lito.
That's Lito,
Mhm.
the defendant.
Yes,
And who is this in the red sweatshirt here?
that's Jack.
And the kid in the green sweatshirt, do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
Is that one of the Shelton kids that came?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. At some point in time, were you asked to be interviewed by the police department with regards to this case?
Yes,
And when you were interviewed with the police department, did you provide this video of this fight?
yes.
And outside of that, once this fight was over, what happened at the Lifers house?
After this, everyone parted ways and left. Yeah, everyone went home. I went home.
You went home?
Yeah.
Okay. And with regards to the drinking that was going on in the house,
Mhm.
Was everybody drinking that night?
I'd say a good amount of people were.
Yeah. Okay. And did you have anything to drink that night?
Yeah.
How much would you say you drank that night?
I don't remember.
Were you drunk?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't know.
But do you remember this fight?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Cross.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Get them small.
Good afternoon, Ms. Moma.
Good afternoon.
I'm just going to go over with you what you've testified to here, okay?
Mhm.
You said that initially there were about 15 to 20 people that were at the party, correct?
Yes.
And those were all St. Joe's kids, is that correct?
I think it was mainly St. Joe's kids. I can't confirm that it was only St. Joe's, but from my understanding, it was.
Do you recall seeing anybody else that you didn't recognize other than when the two kids from Shelton High arrived?
I remember Maddie's boyfriend was there at the time. I think it was mainly all St. Joe's kids who else were there, but that's to my understanding.
And you said most of the people there were drinking, right?
As I remember, yes.
And all of those people that were drinking were all underage, is that correct?
I would assume so, yes.
Because you didn't see any adults there, is that correct?
No.
And this home where you were partying, the party part took place downstairs in the basement?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you didn't see any adults down there, is that correct?
No.
And you told us that some folks were bringing alcohol with them, correct?
Bringing alcohol? I think maybe some people, I'm not sure where people had alcohol or where they got it from, but people were drinking.
Did you see anybody coming down from upstairs in the home with alcohol?
With alcohol? I know people were using the bathroom upstairs. So some people were going upstairs and then coming back down.
Did you see any adults providing alcohol?
I didn't see any adults providing alcohol.
And you didn't see any adults in the basement, is that correct?
At the end of the party, her mom told us to all leave, but that was it.
You didn't know either of these two Shelton High kids who showed up?
No, I'm not sure.
And you started to record this because you thought what was going to happen?
It was kind of just out of impulse, I think. Yeah, I think I just reacted.
And you shared that video with the police when you talked to them on June 1st, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But between May 14th and June 1st, you didn't share that with any police officers, did you?
Not the ones, other than the ones I showed.
On June 1st?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And so you weren't recording it at that point to preserve it as evidence to show somebody,
No.
right? And you didn't know if Mr. De Silva was coming over to try and break it up or if he was part of the fight, right?
No, it all just kind of happened really fast and yeah.
And at some point they sort of collapsed onto the ground on the other side of a vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't see what was going on at that point, could you?
I think it looks at one point like Lito or somebody smacks someone with their fist, but I couldn't really see much other than the video.
And you saw Mr. Valley was wearing a motorcycle helmet, correct?
Yes.
And you saw him in the picture there. He also had on a pillow, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing some form of beer pong downstairs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And there was no fighting going on in the basement. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
None of the kids down there were fighting or making threats towards one another before
No.
the Shelton High kids showed up.
Not that I remember.
And in fact, Mr. Valley, you thought wearing the neck pillow and the helmet was trying to be funny.
Objection is to withdrawn.
You can answer. Thank you.
I don't know why. I'm not sure why he was wearing it.
You told officers when they interviewed you that you thought he was trying to be funny, correct?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
You didn't think that he was wearing that because he was looking to get into a fight, did you?
I'm going to object based on what she thought he thought or what he was doing. That's
He's asking what she thought, and
what she thought he was doing.
she already answered about a statement she made to the police attorney, Dursa, so I'll allow it. Thank you.
I'm sorry about why he was wearing it.
Right. You didn't think that he was doing that so that he was getting ready to go for a fight, did you?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
And then you said that after the fight, very quickly, Mrs. Leifer came out of the house and told everybody to go, right?
Yeah.
And that was the last time that you saw Mr. Valley that evening?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Nothing further from the state.
Thank you. You're all set. You can exit the witness box. Please watch your step.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State calls Emily Robbins, if you can.
Thank you.
No, I think he just put that on at the party. It was like goofing around.
So he just
ended
had
up-
it with him.
Didn't they say it was someone's dad's?
Yeah, it was like at the house. They were partying and drinking, and he just put the helmet on, being goofy.
Okay, so he didn't bring that with him.
No.
Again. Thank you. Please remain standing. Madam Clerk to my right is going to put you under oath, okay? Thank you.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury? I do. You state your full name, spelling your last name.
This looks like maybe the mom at the house.
That's what I was thinking.
Attorney Messina, you may proceed.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Hi, Emily. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Emily, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
And what are you
What?
currently doing?
I am testifying in a murder trial.
Yes. I guess I should be more specific.
Wait, Danny, can you
Currently, what
pause
are you
it?
doing? School, work?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Haha, not funny. Really?
All right.
I am testifying in a murder trial. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Oh
Did
my
she just say?
God.
Did she just say that she's 20 years old?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
I think we're stuck on different things, Dean. Yes. They're both outrageous.
I just couldn't believe that. I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
no, she's a mature 20-year-old.
What did I miss? My son called.
Nothing.
well, she was laughing. She's laughing at being a witness for a murder trial.
Which
But
is
more egregious is apparently she's 20 and she's not the mom that was at the party.
right,
Oh, wow.
egregious, more egregious than I'm testifying in a murder trial.
I was just thinking Seagal's going to be jealous of her
The world
height.
is nuts. I mean, I can't. Anyway.
That's mean, Connor. That is mean.
I am attending Emory University.
Oh,
Nice. And where's that located?
Waltham.
And what is your major?
I am a marketing major.
Nice. What are you doing for the summer?
I am
doing an internship in, I think, Berlin or somewhere in Connecticut.
Okay.
Sports management.
Cool.
Internship.
You a little nervous today?
A little bit.
That's okay. Take a deep breath. Okay.
Stop
So,
laughing,
do
please.
you recall us meeting before today's date?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that meeting?
Was to talk about the trial.
Okay. And
You're funny about
did I
that.
tell you to just tell us the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Did I tell you what to say?
No.
Emily, what high school did you attend?
I went to St. Joseph High School.
And I'm going to direct your attention to May of 2022. What year were you at St. Joe's?
A junior.
And did you play any sports at St. Joe's?
Yes, I played girls soccer and girls lacrosse.
And in May of 2022, were you on the girls lacrosse team?
Yes.
And I'm going to direct your attention specifically to May 14th of 2022. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
And why do you specifically recall that day?
There was a little get together for the girls lacrosse team.
And when you say a little get together, do you mean a party or something more?
Yes, it was a little party.
And where was that party located?
Lazy Brook in Shelton.
Okay. And what was at Lazy Brook in Shelton? Whose residence was that?
It was Madigan Lifer's house. A girl on the girls lacrosse team.
Okay. Do you recall the address by any chance?
5 Lazy Brook Road, maybe?
Okay. And do you recall how you got to that get together?
I drove.
And I'm going to direct your attention to 5 Lazy Brook. What time did you arrive at that location?
I'm not too sure. Sometime around 5-ish.
Okay. And when you got to the party, what was going on?
Nothing really. It was more just like everyone was hanging out in the basement.
Approximately how many people were at this party?
Around 20-ish.
At some point as the night progressed, did the party get bigger?
Yes.
And how large would you say it got? How many people would you say were there later on in the night?
I can't really recall.
Okay. In attendance at the party, was it just St. Joe's girls lacrosse players, or were there other individuals there?
There was more St. Joe's kids and some other kids from Shelton.
Okay. And when you say some other kids from Shelton, how many other kids from Shelton were there?
I'm not completely sure the exact number, but I do know that there was 2.
Okay. In addition to, you said some of the girls lacrosse players, you indicated 2 Shelton High School students. Was there anyone else that was there that was not invited?
Yes. Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. I'm going to strike the answer. Thank you. Just disregard it. It's not part of the evidence.
Jerry heard it down.
Emily, are you familiar with Tyler De Silva?
Yes.
Are you also familiar with an individual by the name of Jack Snyder?
Yes.
And what about an individual by the name of Raul Valley?
Yes.
How are you familiar with those individuals?
I was in their grade at school. I had classes with them, but that's pretty much where it ended.
Did you hang out with their friends at group gatherings at all?
No, not usually, no.
Okay. If you were to see them, for instance, out, would you recognize them?
Yes.
Okay. From those 3 individuals, do you recognize any of those individuals here today in court?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you recognize?
Lido.
Okay.
Raul.
When you say Lido, does that person go by a different name?
Yes.
And what name does that person go by?
Raul.
Okay. So you know that person, Raul, as Lido as well?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please point him out and just describe what he's wearing?
A black suit with a black tie.
Let the record reflect, Your Honor, that the witness is identifying the defendant.
The record should so reflect. Thank you.
So Emily, as I refer to Lido or Raul as you know him, I'm also going to refer to him as a defendant. It's the same person. Okay. So Emily, at some point, when you were at the party, did something occur between the St. Joe's 3 individuals that you just indicated, as well as the Shelton High School students?
Yes.
And what happened?
There was a fight.
Okay. And were you present when that fight took place?
Yes.
And when you say present, how close to the fight were you?
I was very close. I was trying to break it up.
Okay. Before we proceed, I am going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 53. May I approach the clerk, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Emily, you have a screen in front of you here.
Yes.
Looking at stage 53, do you recognize the individuals in this photograph?
Yes.
And who are those individuals?
Jack Snyder in the red and Lido in the blue.
And looking at stage 53, do you remember Lido, as you just indicated, wearing that helmet as well as the pillow around his neck?
Yes.
Okay. And from your recollection from that night at the party, do you recall if the defendant showed up wearing this helmet and the pillow, or did he retrieve it at the party?
He got it at the party.
Do you recall whose helmet that is that he's wearing?
I do not know exactly.
Okay. And when the fight broke out that you observed, do you recall if the defendant was wearing that helmet during the fight?
He was.
Okay. Now, directing your attention back to the party that night, what was happening at the party? Was there drinking going on? Were there games being played? Explain.
Yes, there was drinking going on, and there was some games being played, like beer pong and other drinking games.
Okay. What type of alcohol was being consumed, if you recall?
Mostly beer and some alcoholic, like seltzers.
Had you been drinking?
Yes.
How many alcoholic beverages had you consumed?
I don't remember.
Were you, had you been drinking to the point where you were drunk, not able to stand, or?
No, I was, no.
Okay. And you indicated you had driven to the party that night?
Yes.
Now, did you observe Lito or Raul drinking that night?
Yes.
And looking at C53, do you see the blue liquid that the defendant is holding in his hand there?
Yes.
Do you recall what that is? Do you know what that is? Now, the individuals that arrived from Shelton High School, as you indicated, do you know the names of those individuals?
Oh, come on. She's a 20-year-old girl.
I did later learn that it was Griffin and Ryan.
She's lovely.
Later
She
on.
plays lacrosse though.
So what does that mean?
Don't let her fool you.
That's a
You-
qualifier for
Yeah,
that?
she'll hit you right in the head with that damn lacrosse stick.
She must have had a lot of college offers.
Yeah, right? Yep.
I think her lacrosse
interactions
stick
with
is
them.
probably bigger than mine.
Oh, definitely. That sack that catches the ball is way
I think
bigger.
she's lovely. I think she's a lovely 20-year-old girl.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like one of the more responsible.
Yes. Right. So what was he drink? He was drinking Blue Whale. Was that what he was drinking? The defendant?
I hope it
I don't
wasn't
know.
UV blue, because
I mean,
Thinking vodka, blue Gatorade.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
no problem.
Vodka. Vodka and teenagers. Not a good
So-
situation.
Yes,
So
after the
this is so I don't know, but you know, there's a lot of rivalries with these kids, and there's house parties constantly. I mean, in the town I used to live in, it was crazy. You know, the parents would buy the alcohol. The parents would, be out for the, away for the weekend. They're totally fucking detached. The nannies raise the kids, but it seems as though, and I don't know, but my feeling now is that it's the Shelton High School kids against the St. Joe's. So St. Joe's is in Trumbull, and my daughter almost went to St. Joe's, beautiful, but Shelton High School is probably very nice too. Shelton is a very nice area. It's they call it the Valley. It's more like middle class, but it's really very pretty. So it's just interesting. My sense of it is, and I don't know, but I'm just like this Jimmy McGrath who went to school in Fairfield, around where I used to live. That's not related at all. Fairfield prep. Sometimes there's like big rivalries between, like, I could see like the prep kids and the St. Joe's kids, if there's like lacrosse or football or something like that. But it doesn't seem to be at play. I don't know, but it just seems as though, I don't know, maybe this Jimmy McGrath lived in Shelton or Trumbull, and that's how he knew these kids. But he seems to be kind of, like not really involved, whereas the schools are concerned. So that's the only observation that I can make so far. But anyway, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
One of my friends drove them away.
And is that when you learn their names?
Yes, yeah, in the car.
Now, when, as you indicated, Ryan and Griffin arrived at 5 Lazy Brook, if you can recall, or if you observed, how did the defendant, Jack, and Tyler Da Silva react?
They did not want that.
Okay, and how do you know that? What were they doing, without going into what they were saying, how were they observed?
Trying to kick them out.
Okay. Would you say it was a bit of a hostile interaction?
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you indicated a fight broke out. Do you recall what that fight was over?
It was over like a little case of beer.
Okay. And when you say it was over a little case of beer, explain.
The Lido and like the others had taken it from them and wanted them to leave, and Ryan wanted the beer back, and then he would leave. But so that's why they fought over the alcohol.
Okay. Were you standing there when were you observing this? You were observing the beer being taken and then Ryan wanting that beer back?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did the boys from St. Joe's give the beer back to Ryan at that point?
No.
Okay. And because the beer was not given back, what occurred?
That's when the fight broke out.
And when you say a fight broke out, you indicated you observed the fight. To your recollection, explain what you observed when the fight happened.
I saw Lido punch Ryan from behind, and then that's when everyone started fighting.
Okay. And when you say everyone, who else was fighting?
Jack, Tyler, and Lido.
Now, obviously from stage 53, you can see here, you indicated Jack is wearing the red sweatshirt, Lido is wearing the blue shirt. What was Tyler wearing that night, if you can recall?
A light blue jersey.
Now, you had said that you were saying certain things during the fight when it was going on?
Yes.
What were you saying?
Trying to break it up.
Okay. And were you successful in breaking up the fight?
No, not really.
In addition to, as you said, you observed Lido hit someone in the back of the head.
Yes.
Did you observe the defendant doing anything else during that fight?
Near the end of the fight, he headbutted Ryan, who was on the ground with the helmet on.
So when you say headbutted, explain to the members of the jury what you mean by that.
He like took his head and like to the ground, like he like dive bombed with his head into Ryan, who was on the ground.
Okay. Let the record reflect, Your Honor, that the witness is motioning her head towards the front of her body to indicate what the defendant was saying with that.
Or will let the record reflect the movement of the witness in the stand as such. Thank you.
Now, Emily, from your description, it sounds like the defendant had kept the helmet on as he was using it on Ryan. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So at any point did he take that helmet off when he was doing that?
No.
Okay. And did you observe him headbutt Ryan once or more than once?
I only remember once.
Okay. And we'll withdraw. May I approach the clerk, Your Honor? Yes. 58. Emily, I'm going to show you what's marked as state 58. Do you remember seeing that video?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall who took that video?
Bella Molnar.
I'm sorry?
Bella Molnar.
Okay. Do you know Bella Molnar?
Yes, we were in the same grade.
So she was a friend of yours?
Yes.
And if we could just have play the slowed down version for the frame 90, please. Thank you. I'm going to show you a clip from one of the versions of that video. Okay, so looking at stage 58, can you see in your screen there?
Yes.
Okay, if you can point out who was in the red sweatshirt there.
That was Jack's.
Okay, and over to the left-hand side of Jack there in the blue jersey, who was that?
That was Tyler.
And over to the right-hand side of Jack in the greenish colored sweatshirt, who is that?
That was Ryan.
Okay, and do you see yourself anywhere in this video at this point?
I'm on like the far right. I don't think you can really see me yet.
Okay, you can just back it up. Rewind it. Do you see yourself here?
Yeah, I'm in the white shirt.
Okay, and so towards the back side of the video?
Yes, not the far right, but just over from the person on the far right.
If we can play that normally. So, Emily, you saw yourself walking towards the fight. Is that you
Yes,
in states of Gabe? What are you doing at that point?
I'm trying to break it up, like push people away.
What did you do to break it up? What did you physically do?
I was trying to like push like people with like my hands.
So you had hands on people?
Yes.
Okay. Were you successful in getting anyone off anyone at all?
No.
And how close were you to the fight when you observed the defendant headbutt Ryan?
A foot or two.
Okay. And did you recall, withdrawn, after he headbutted, what occurred after that?
Then the fight pretty much subsided.
After the fight had ended, is it fair to say that the party kind of dissipated at that point?
Yes.
Okay. And how did the party dissipate?
People were just starting to like be kicked out basically.
Who kicked them out?
I think the parents, but I'm not completely sure.
As you were leaving the withdrawn, did you leave the party at that point?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you leave?
I left in a Jeep that my friend was driving.
Okay. So you had indicated earlier that you had driven to the party.
Yes.
Did you leave your car?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you go in the Jeep with your friends?
We were taking Ryan and Griffin away to wherever they needed to go.
Did you have an opportunity to observe any injuries on Ryan Hines?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you observe on him?
His mouth was bleeding and his nose was bleeding.
And we're withdrawn. Whose Jeep was it that you got into?
I believe that it was my friend Izzy's.
Okay. And where did Izzy go to after you left the party?
After she was driving us?
Yep.
I think we went back to my house after the night was over.
Did she drop off Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. Do you
Yes.
recall where she dropped them off?
I do not remember.
And was it just you, Ryan, Griffin, and Izzy in the vehicle? Or were there other individuals in the?
There were other people.
The defendant was to the guy's right, threw that first punch from behind and hit him. That started the whole thing right before they all rolled down the driveway.
Can I approach counsel, Your Honor?
Yes. Thank you. Is 59?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any objection, Attorney Smith?
Your Honor, I'd like to see the foundation
Okay.
laid.
All right.
Emily, I'm showing you what's in marked as state 59 for ID purposes only. Do you recognize this
Yeah.
photograph?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you recognize that photograph as?
It was a picture that we took on top of the Jeep.
Okay, do
After
you
the
recall
fight.
who took this photograph?
It was me.
It was you, and it was a selfie?
Yes.
Okay, and was this photograph taken after the fight had broken up and before you left the party?
Yes.
For Izzy to drive?
This was still on Lazy Brook Street.
Okay. Does this picture fairly and accurately depict how you all were situated as you were leaving the party that night?
Yes.
Is there anything different in this photograph that you can point out that was different at the time of?
Not that I can see.
How about you do the folks that you're on?
Attorney Smith?
No objection.
All right. Court will accept into evidence states 59 is full. Thank you.
Emily, I'm showing you state 59, which is now a full exhibit. Emily, do you recognize these individuals in this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And this individual right here, who's that?
That's me.
Okay. And the individual back here, who's this?
That's Ryan.
Okay. And the individual back here, who's that?
That's Griffin.
Okay. And the person who drove the Jeep, Izzy, where is she in this photograph?
The far left.
Far left. So over here?
Even more like near the bottom left of the picture.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And how soon after you took this photograph did you leave the party?
I believe right away, but I can't be sure.
Okay. And other than what you testified here to today, is there anything else that you can recall from that party regarding the fight that broke out at 5 Lazy Brook?
No, I cannot.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Smith?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Small cigar.
Good afternoon. How are you, Ms. Robinson?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So just want to ask you a few questions, and let's start where we ended. Exhibit number 59. That turned around.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. You have described yourself as being in the bottom right-hand corner, correct?
Yes.
And in your hand, is this one of those hard seltzers you described?
Yes.
Is that also seen in your hand when you are trying to break up the fight?
Yes.
And who is this person that is directly behind you wearing the green shirt and putting her tongue out?
Maeve.
Maeve?
Yes.
Does she go to St. Joseph? Or
Yes.
She did that
Yes.
And you said behind Maeve is Ryan Hines, correct?
Yes.
And who is directly to Ryan Hines's right wearing a blue hat?
Casey.
Casey. Is that also a St. Joe's, or was that a St. Joe's?
Yes.
And Casey, is she holding a beer?
Yes.
And behind Casey, is that Griffin Marcinzik?
Yes.
Did you know Griffin Marcinzik prior to this?
No.
Did you know Ryan Hines prior to this?
No.
And right beside Casey, in a white top with longer hair, who is that?
Katie.
And directly in front of Katie and Casey, making a face of some sort, who is that?
Grace.
Grace, also St. Joseph
Yes.
at that time? And then this person directly beside her, you described that as being the driver, correct?
Yes.
That's Izzy?
Yes.
And Izzy was also a student at St. Joseph at that time.
Yes.
Were all of those folks drinking during the course of the party?
Not Izzy.
Not Izzy. Because Izzy's driving.
Yes.
You at least didn't see Izzy drinking, is that fair to say?
No, she did. She was known to not drink.
Okay. So you didn't see her drink that night?
Yes.
Okay. And you described the fight that broke out. And you said that the defendant punched Ryan Hines from behind, correct?
Yes.
You watched that video with us there of the fight that Ms. Molnar recorded? And did that capture the initial breakout of the fight?
Yes, that was the start of it.
It didn't capture, however, Mr. Snyder and Mr. Hines having a discussion about fighting for the beer, right?
Yes, it was not.
Because there was a point where Mr. Snyder asked Ryan if he wanted to fight for the beer, right?
Yes.
But we don't see that on that video, is that fair to say?
You do not.
But we do see them squaring up, and then we see Mr. Hines backing up a little bit, right?
Yes.
And he backs up into Mr. Valley, right?
I would say I can't tell from the video.
You weren't paying attention to that when it happened?
I guess no.
What were you focused on when the fight broke out?
I was just watching it all go down.
Okay. You didn't know Mr. Hines at that point?
No, I did not.
Would you say you were more focused on the St. Joe's kids that you did know, or on the kids that you didn't know?
I wasn't focused on one in particular.
And you watched that video with us, and you tried to break it up, and you saw yourself in that video, correct?
Yes.
You're holding on to that seltzer that you've got in the picture later.
Yes.
And the fight sort of tumbles forward, right?
Yes.
Behind a vehicle that's there?
Yes.
That wasn't the Jeep that you've described as driving away in?
No.
Do you know whose vehicle that was?
That was my car.
That was your car that we see them go behind?
Yes.
Okay. Were you worried about your car getting damaged at all in the course of this fight?
No.
How close were they to your car? Were they bumping up against it?
I can't remember. I don't think so.
Okay. At some point you said you got actually into the fight close enough that you were touching some of these people, correct?
Yes.
How many people were involved at that point?
I can't remember exactly, like the exact amount.
Were you the only person that was trying to break it up?
I believe so.
There weren't any other people that were involved trying to break up the fight?
I can't remember.
You don't recall Mr. Valley taking off the helmet, correct?
No, I do not.
Involved in this fight, there were at least Mr. Bally, Mr. Snyder, Mr. De Silva, Mr. Hines.
Yes.
You yourself were involved as far as getting over there and putting hands and trying to break it up. You think it was just the 5 of you?
That's all I can really remember.
Where was Mr. Marcinzik at this time?
I do not remember.
Do you know where any of these other people were that were in the Jeep with you?
No, I do not remember.
It was chaotic, correct?
Yes.
You were focused on trying to break up the fight. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You've described not seeing Mr. Valley take off the helmet, correct?
Yes.
But you say that he headbutted Mr. Hines, correct?
Yes.
And that he dive bombed him with his head, correct?
Yes.
Could you see what was at Mr. Valley's feet at that point?
I do not remember.
Could you tell whether or not he tripped?
No, I do not remember.
Could you see if anybody laid their hands on him and pulled him?
No, I do not remember.
You weren't focused on that, right?
No.
Whose hands, who were you touching with your hands when you were trying to pull somebody apart?
I believe it was Tyler's.
Have you ever been in?
Could have been Han's son. Could have been.
Involved in a fight before?
No.
Was it scary?
Yes.
Was it dark?
A little, but there was lights from the garage.
Was it as light as it appears in the video that's been lightened?
I do not remember.
To your recollection, which of those more accurately reflects what you recall? The lightened video or the darker video?
I would say the light.
The lightened video is more
Yes.
what you recall. When did you first learn about the video that Ms. Molnar took?
I do not remember.
Did she show it to you?
No.
Who showed it to you?
I think it was on on a story on my phone.
Was it on a story on your phone?
Yes.
Can you educate me a little bit? When you say on a story, what do you mean?
Like Snapchat. Like someone posted it on their story on Snapchat.
All right, I'm going to show my age yet again. On your Snapchat, you posted a story. Can you describe for me what that is if I'm somebody who doesn't know?
Someone else had taken a video and posted it so that other people who they have chosen could see it.
Do you remember who that was?
I would believe it's Bella, but I can't remember.
So Bella posted that video on her story on her Instagram?
On Snapchat. I believe it was Bella.
Snapchat. Okay. Snapchat, is that the app that allows you to message, but the messages disappear?
Yes.
So how were you able to view this on her Snapchat?
She posted it so that other people could see it, and then you can watch it for like a certain amount of time. It's like 24 hours, and then it goes away.
And how soon after the fight do you recall her posting that?
I do not recall.
Same day?
I believe so, but I don't remember.
So you had seen this video prior to speaking with officers on May 26th?
Yes.
Did you tell them about the existence of the video?
I do not remember.
Did you tell these officers about drinking that had been going on at the party?
Yes.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Attorney Messina.
Emily, counsel just asked you on cross-examination if you had seen anyone trip Lido. Do you recall seeing that at all?
No.
Do you recall seeing anyone push Lido?
No.
And what I mean by that is when he headbutted Ryan, was there anything at all other than him lowering his head and putting it on Ryan that you observed?
No.
There's no one else around You didn't see anything else other than what you just testified to?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Attorney Smith?
You just told us that you didn't see anyone trip or push the defendant, correct?
Yes.
You told us that night you had your hands on Mr. De Silva, correct?
Yes.
Was your focus on what Mr. Valley was doing at that point?
It was more on the whole fight itself.
How many times have you seen that video that we've just watched?
A handful of times, maybe 10. I'm not sure the exact amount.
And what effect do you think watching that video 10 times has had on your recollection?
I'm not sure.
Are you able to tell what you recall from that night versus what you recall from having watched that video 10 times?
Yes.
And you can distinguish those two things here for us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything further? You may exit the witness box. Thank you. Please watch your step.
Oh, got it. All right. Well, this ride's coming to an end.
Okay,
Dean,
bro.
what time you gotta be at work tomorrow?
What's up?
What time you gotta leave on the airport?
Yeah, I gotta be there at like 3 in the morning, so in like 3 hours.
Dean. Stop.
Cool. I'm a sleep on the plane. I'm gonna take a small nap though, right now.
Oh my God, that's dedication. Dean, sleep. You need to sleep.
I'm gonna.
Well, have an
Does that mean that
amazing
you're getting
time.
off the stream right now?
I think Danny's ending it. I'll wait for him to end.
Oh, well.
Why?
Good luck on your trip tomorrow. Be careful.
Yeah.
Keep it
No, I'm
posted.
waiting on you to tell the story
What story?
about what you're gonna do when you get to work in Denver tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a trade show. It starts at 11, ends at 3.
What's the trade you're showing?
I've gotta set up a hat display and a toy display, and then 7-Eleven owners will come by and hopefully order a hat display or a toy
Hell
display.
yeah.
So you're responsible for like selling?
I'm a sales rep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Best of luck. We're rooting for you, Dean. We know that you're going to kill it.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh yeah, you're gonna sell a lot of those. What are they, truckers' hats?
There are trucker hats. There's but there's like all sorts of different kinds of hats.
Do any of them say "fuck you" on them?
No.
Well, fuck that.
Those
Fuck
would
you.
sell.
Dean,
Yeah,
you
those
should
would
have a
sell.
line of FKR all across
Frames. Frames, Massachusetts. What?
Yeah, we have Massachusetts hats at the warehouse.
Darn you,
That's
that's a sales
cold,
pitch you need
MJ.
to get to your cousins right now. Now's the time to make bank on them.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that was
awesome,
fun.
Dean. Are you going to do, can you do anything fun at all?
Uh,
I mean,
no,
you know,
never.
No, he's got a trade show until it's time to go back to the plane.
touristy stuff, like going to
No,
like,
no.
Colorado's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just.
I've never been there, but
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna
it
just be
is.
there
It's
for the
super
day.
awesome. Rocky Mountains and oh, so awesome.
well,
Yeah.
wonderful. The first of many adventures. You deserve it, Dean. We're happy for you.
Hell
We're
yeah.
proud of you. Have a
Trade show.
safe travels.
Hell yeah.
Dean's
Yeah,
like, I gotta go to a convention.
Yeah, it's at the Gaylord Rockies convention or some shit.
They
I was
always
like, that's
bring him in the
perfect.
back.
Yeah. I know how I'll get orders. I know why they're sending me.
They're gonna buy at least 2 racks of them hats.
Hell yeah.
MJ says it's because he's
Right.
related to all the
Yeah.
store owners.
Yeah, that's
Oh god.
That's
Mary
funny.
B's back. She's been missing for several episodes.
I think she fell
You
asleep.
need to catch up on her sleep, brother. She
I know.
slept through the whole
Who's
birthday.
gonna ask the question?
I forgive her. She needs sleep.
I'm
No, I
here.
never-
I know.
What?
Who is that?
That's me. I'm here.
No.
Present and accounted for.
See?
Well, guess what time it is?
Wait, is Toys want you to
What
tell
time
a
is
story
it?
about her face?
From coast to coast, we on that grind. True crime tales, we follow the signs. ChatRats rolling always on time. We dive in deep into every case, from alibis to that suspect's face. Gobble drops and the stakes get high. We light it up, truth never dies. Global crew, all eyes on the stream. Investigations run like a dream. Popping facts with that midnight spark. Solving crimes even in the dark. We got theories and we got files. We got timelines stretching miles. Clicking links, checking the stats. Say it loud. We the ChatRats.
Let the story unfold from the first 911 to the courtroom code. Running down leads, we don't relax. Light it up, we got the facts. Puff pass, bring the justice through. From the crime scene sketch to the interview. Together we vibe in every chat. Watch us work, we the ChatRats.
Murder boards and old police logs. Late night lives and digital fog. We question the lies, breaking it down. Flashlight minds in a sleepy town. Whispers turn to witness names. Motive, weapon, unravel the games. With every puff, a clue gets clear. Truth hits harder than smoke in the air.
Follow the thread, where it led. One more clue, what they said. Puff, puff, pass, let the story unfold. From the first 911 to the courtroom code. Running down leads, we don't relax. Light it up, we got the facts. Puff, pass, bring the justice through. From the crime scene sketch to the interview. Together we vibe in every chat. Watch us work, we the ChatRats. Light it, pass it, the journey goes on. From the crime to the court, dusk till dawn. Truth seekers under digital hats, solving mysteries, we the ChatRats.